Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei got his sacred gear removed and goes to Naruto Universe Part 3. Before we start, please go support ZykxDragon for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 32 Exams. The night party for the presentation of Konoha clans had already ended, everyone had already gone to their homes to sleep, but on a certain roof of a complex, there was a black-haired girl looking at the starry sky, in her eyes a feeling of sadness could be seen. She felt like she was about to cry, but she felt like hands surrounded her waist, and she was attached to a warm body, and she knew who it was. She just turned around and hugged him. "Why are you sad?" "I feel bad, Issei. I lost in my first match. I wanted to win, to be able to have the Chunin rank, to stay by your side. With your power you will surely be named Jounin, and we will no longer be together. If I continue like this, I will never be able to go for my brother to know the truth of our clan." "Issei. Don't be like that, you shouldn't give up just because you lost once. Train harder and try again without fear of losing." "But I can't, I'm weak, I'm scared." "Issei. The words I can't don't exist in this world. You are not weak, you are strong in your own way. I will be by your side to support you and keep you going, because fear is what makes us human and we cannot change that." "Are you serious?" "Issei. Of course." "Issei, you I like you." Issei smiled, lowered his mask and kissed her. Was a little surprised, but was glad that the boy he liked accepted his feelings, even though he didn't tell him. Issei left the girl's mouth and hugged her. "Issei, can you stay overnight with me tonight?" "Issei. Wow, what a perverted girl you are." "I'm not saying that, idiot, I just don't want to sleep alone tonight." "Issei. Okay, I'll stay with you this beautiful night." They both went into the girl's room where got into her futon, made space for her, and he got in, hugged her, held her close to him, and they fell asleep. The next day. Minato was in his office in the morning like almost every day. He heard his secretary open the door. "Secretary. Good morning, Hokage, the other cages are here to go to the final exams." "Minato. Let them come in." The 5 leaders entered to learn the details of the last phase of the exams. When they entered, Minato stood up as a sign of respect. "Minato. Good morning, I hope you had a good night." "Inoki. Leave that aside, Minato, tell us the details." "Minato. Well, the exam tournament will be made up of the winners of the previous tests. They will face each other until only 2 remain, since this way we will know who is ready to move up in rank." "It's a good way, even though there are only ninjas from your village left than from ours." "Minato. The exams are not just for this, but we want to sign an alliance with the other villages. As I already told you, there is an organization that is looking for the tailed beasts. Due to our past with them, we know that dealing with one is not easy. If they gather all 9, it would be a real danger. I have no information about what they want to do with the Bijas, but I can tell you that nothing nice. If we form an alliance, we can support each other." "Rasa. With all due respect, Minato, if you are looking for an alliance with the big villages, what are the Mist Village and the Waterfall doing here?" "Shibuki. Well, as time goes by, the Waterfall Village has also made more alliances with other small villages. If we talk about numbers, my army could be compared to that of the Sand Village." I know that my village is in a civil war, but my ninjas are very powerful. Among my ranks I still have holders of bloodlines that are very strong. If Hokage Dono supports me, we will end the fight against the current leader, who is Yugura, the Jinchuriki of the 3 tails." "Minato. And I will give you support with the strongest ninjas I have. After that we will recover the 3-tailed Biju to keep it safe." "Inoki. We can finish this conversation later, it's time for the exams to start." The leaders nodded and went to the arena where the tournament would take place. With the Uzumakis. Kushina now stood in front of her daughters-in-law, her daughter, her granddaughter, her friends Mikoto and Mibuki, along with her former students Rin, Kurenai and Anko. "Kushina. I hope you're ready, these fights won't be easy, especially with my children inside." "Anko. I know they won't hurt you, but you won't come out unscathed if you fight against them or that Sasuke or Gaara boy." "Hinata. We are aware of the strength of Issei and Naruto, but I can say that we will be able to at least keep Sasuke at bay." "Yugito. The only problem would be that red-haired boy, we don't know his limits. The fact that he lost the previous fight is because they cheated. That guy was much bigger than Gaara, and he also used poison, which is prohibited in these exams." "Leo. Yes, besides the fact that he is so strong, his eyes are beautiful, that seriousness in his face, his presence is charming, he is very gentlemanly and kind, he is so perfect." All the girls present were surprised by what little Uzumaki said. "Irie. It seems that my Aunt Mio is in love." "Leo. I'm not in love or anything like that, blushes." "Kushina. I just hope that your brothers and dad are not against your relationship with that boy who is older than you, she said, sighing. Leo. They can't decide anything about my life, and they're only 2 years older than me, she said with a pout. Rin. I thought you didn't like me. Leo turned red with shame at the situation she got herself into. But Issei and Naruto. Issei and Naruto stood on top of 2 statues as they looked at each other. Issei. Today is the day of the final stage of the exams. Naruto. I know, are you ready to lose to me? Issei. Heh, we've never really fought. Whenever we faced each other, it was by restricting our power so as not to harm others. I know that in Kurama Chakra you are stronger than me, but I know that I can still beat you. Naruto. We never give up until we achieve something. Since we were little you have taken care of me, you awakened your Sharingan by saving me, and that motivated me even more to be strong, but there is something I still don't understand. Issei. What is it? Naruto. What happened to you that day Issei Sensei's daughters were born? Issei. I turned to look at the sky that day. I realized the true nature of the human being. I realized that peace will not be achieved so easily. Naruto. I know our dreams are different, but they reach the same point. Issei. Of course not, brother. You want to protect a village that tried to kill us for years, that hates our family. Well, I want to destroy evil, but that will not be possible. Naruto. Why are you saying that now? Issei. Because evil is within all human beings. You may have accepted your dark side, but I have left it where it was. Issei Sensei knew that I thought that way and still let me be the guardian of this dimension. Now I realize that my reasoning is ironic. Naruto. Huh. Issei. I am in charge of protecting this world. Looking ahead, well, I want to destroy it. Inside the arena where the tournament would take place. The cages were in a box where they could see the great arena where the participants would fight. The villagers and ninjas were already there. The feudal lords were also there for different things, some to make bets, others to entertain themselves, to see who can protect them, but some with dark purposes. The feudal lord of the country of fire was waiting to see the level of the Jinchuricas who were now in the Leaf village, that if we talk about this, they would already be much stronger. Feudal 1. Hey, who did you bet on? Fire feudal. I've bet on the Uzumaki brothers. Feudal 2. Those children. Aren't they the Hokage's children? Feudal of Fire. That's right, I've known them for a few months, so I know they will win. Feudal 1. Yes, but look at those girls. I think I know who I will choose as my bodyguard, he said, looking at Hinata. Fire feudal. If I were you, I wouldn't notice any of those girls, he said, crossing his arms. Feudal 1. Are you threatening me? Fire feudal. No, just that they are the fiancés of the last Uzumakas who, if you don't know, still own half of the country of fire, are children of the 4th Hokage, trained by the White Dragon, Jinchuricus of the 9 Tails. One has the Sharingan, they have support from more than 67 villages, they are grandchildren of the Toad Sage, and finally, one of them is my son-in-law. Little by little the participants were arriving, almost everyone was there, only the Nami-Yuzu brothers were missing. Kushina was furious, Minato sat her on his legs to calm her down a little. Kushina. Those brats, it's about time they were here. When we get home I'm going to. Minato. Don't worry too much, they will be here, I'm sure they will make a great and dramatic entrance. Kushina. I hope that's it. Conan, who would be the one to rule in the fights, turned to see Minato, who nodded and began. Conan. As you all know, this final stage will be similar to a tournament, so I will show you the order of combat, even though you already knew it before showing a large board where the list is. Yugito vs Kanguro. Duo vs Shino. Naruto vs Kain. Sasuke vs Shikamaru. Gaara vs Aiko. Hinata vs Haku. Issei vs Kitsuchi. Tamari vs Haruka. Tenton vs Sakura. Conan. When these fights are over the winners will face each other again, so act smart and try not to hurt each other too much. The participants nodded to the instructions of the new Jounin of the village, although inside they all had different thoughts. Fear, insecurities, hate, calm, love, pride, dreams, laziness and revenge. Conan. Well then Yugito Uzumaki and Kankuro Sabaku stay, the rest go to the terrace to await their fight. Yugito and Kankuro separated by at least 4 meters, they looked into each other's eyes waiting for the start of the fight. Conan. Attack with everything you have but don't kill. If the fight gets out of control, I'll stop you or kill you, understood? Both nod so, start. Conan started and jumped back, Yugito got into a combat stance pulling out his chakra nails, while Kankuro still had his hands in the pockets of his pants. Yugito. You seem too confident to be about to lose. Kankuro. I'm going to fight a girl so I shouldn't hurt her too much. Yugito. Hehehe, how funny you are, showing a smile. Kankuro. Yes I am, let me start the show. Kanguro unleashed his puppet and attacked Yugito with a blade, but the girl jumped to dodge it, but another puppet appeared and caught it, from its mouth came out its tongue, but in the form of a leaf, it was going to harm her, but Yugito acted before and replaced himself with the other puppet that was next to Kanguro. When it appeared tangled in the puppet it was pierced through the head. Kanguro turned to look at his side where Yugito was now. Yugito. Fire ninja art. Phoenix flower. Several small balls made of fire shot out of Yugito's mouth towards Kanguro who, with a skillful movement, protected himself with one of his puppets. Kanguro. A beautiful technique for a lady, but unfortunately I must stop wasting chakra ninja puppet art. Poison mist, blind spot destruction. The two puppets began to spin at high speed around Yugito, who did not know what was happening. One of the puppets launched poisonous smoke bombs towards Yugito. She did not see anything, she knew that something was up to her, so she used her sensor sense and felt like a needle was shot towards her head, but with her nails she deflected it. Several more appeared, but were also deflected. Due to the smoke no one saw what had happened. Kanguro had put on an arrogant smile, but suddenly Yugito came out of the smoke. Yugito. Taijutsu. Piercing. Yugito began to spin in the air heading towards Kanguro who tried to protect himself with his puppets, but Yugito went through them. When he was in front of Kanguro, he gave him a strong blow with his fist that slammed him against the wall, knocking him out. Yugito. End of the function. Conan. The winner is Yugito Uzumaki. Yugito smiled and looked around for Issei, but he still hadn't appeared, but she knew that somehow he had seen her, so she happily went with the other girls, while Kanguro was taken to the infirmary. Minato. Your son has a good Rasa level. Rasa? Yes, I know, even though he lost it, it is very hard for me, I am proud of him and my other children. Conan. Next up are Fu Uzumaki and Shino Aburam. They both jumped into the arena. She now had the special suit of the golden leaves by orders of the captain of that squadron. They walked until they were face to face. They were ready for this fight. Conan positioned herself, looked at Minato, he nodded. Conan. Start. Conan jumped back while Fu ran towards Shino to kick him, but he dodged it. She passed by which Aburam took advantage of by throwing a kunai towards her body, but Fu dodged it too. From her bag she took out a smoke bomb and made it explode. When Shino cleared it she was no longer there. He looked around but nothing, everyone was silent waiting for the girl to move. Shino used his insects to locate her, but in less than a moment, more than 50 clones of Fu appeared in the sand which threw several kunai, but Shino protected himself with some beetles that came out of the ground. He felt a breeze on the side of his cheek, and when he turned to see he saw the real girl. Fu. Ninja dust art. Blinding dust. The white powder with sparkles came out of her mouth. Shino felt something enter her eyes, they stung and burned. She calmed down, she would ambush him, so she used her insects to protect herself and probably attack, but little did she know that the clones knew he would do that, so she made her own move. Fu. Fire ninja art. Dragon breath. All of Fu's clones jumped and directed the fire attack towards the boy's body. Everyone just saw how the ground filled with fire. When the attack ceased, the original Fu fell, and the clones disappeared. On the ground there was only Shino's somewhat burned body. The nurses quickly entered and saw that the boy was still alive. Conan. The winner is Fu Uzumaki. Applause was heard throughout the place. She was happy with her achievement. She felt a breeze that moved her hair. She felt happy because she knew who it had been. She looked up at Shibuki who gave her a big smile of joy. Conan. Well, next are Naruto Namikaze and the Kain Namikaze. The Kain jumped into the sand while there was no trace of Naruto. The Kages turned to see Minato, who did not know where his son was. Rasa. It seems that your son is not going to fight Minato. Minato. He must be doing something, he must be arriving soon. Inoki. This is disrespectful so you should disqualify him. Minato knew he was right, Conan was going to disqualify him, but in the arena a small tornado began to form. Everyone was a little surprised. When the tornado disappeared, it left a boy with blonde hair, a black trench coat, a white shirt, black ambu pants, combat boots and sand in one of his ears. This was Naruto who as Minato had said would make a dramatic entrance. Naruto. I hope you forgive my delay, but I had to attend to important matters, he said smiling. Chapter 33 Exams Part 2. Exams Part 2. Truths from the past. The Kain looked at Naruto with a smile. She had trained a lot for this confrontation. She knew she was going to lose, but she didn't care if it was at the hands of her boyfriend. She would show him all her progress, because since he saved her she had trained her. Her Byakugan was not as strong as the Hyuga clans, because she is the daughter of a Hyuga and a civilian, so her blood was different. Even so her eyes could be lethal since unlike the White Eye clan, she had learned powerful jutsus. Naruto. Are you ready? Getting into fighting stance. The Kain. Of course, I won't hold back. Naruto. I didn't expect otherwise. Conan. Fight. Conan jumped back just as they both collided. Their palms, punches, kicks, kunes, shurikens, those and other things were thrown between them. They looked even, which surprised many, because Naruto's skill and Kain's intelligence when it came to fighting were well known. When Naruto was going to kick her, she jumped up with the help of Naruto's foot. When she was high enough she screamed. The Kain. Water ninja art. Killing pressure. A large jet of water came out of the girl's mouth towards the ground. Naruto used a jump to avoid the attack, but when a Kain fell to the ground, he traced seals again. The Kain. Water ninja art. Liquid chains. Several chains came out of the puddles of water that had formed to trap Naruto, who used his diamond chains to break the water chains, but she immediately began to draw more seals. The Kain. Water ninja art. Water dragon. The dragon came out of the ground towards Naruto, but he drew faster seals. Naruto. Earth ninja art. Rock dragon. Next to the blonde came a dragon made of rock that crashed against the water dragon, destroying it while going towards a Kain who drew seals. The Kain. Earth ninja art. Dome. A dome of earth formed around her protecting her, but it broke when the attack struck. She could see that Naruto was no longer there. She looked for him with her Byakugan, but she couldn't find him until she heard. Naruto. Earth ninja art. Headhunter. The Kain felt hands holding her feet and burying her. Immediately Naruto appeared in a cloud of smoke with a kunai in his hand. Naruto. It seems that I won, threatening her with the kunai on her neck. The Kain. Idiot pout. Conan. The winner is Naruto Namikaze. Applause was heard from the cages, Jounin and the next participants. Conan. Next up are Shikamaru Nara vs Sasuke Chija. Shikamaru walked slowly towards the arena while thinking about Aiko. They had gone to the Nara forest. They spent time lying under the shade of the trees while they watched the clouds and said what they looked like. That girl took away his laziness. He couldn't stop looking at her eyes. In a burst he had kissed her even though she got angry. He told him that he liked her and that when he was a chunin, he would spend his free time by her side, something that made her laugh. Now he had to show off against Sasuke. Could he defeat him? They were teammates, so she knew what he was capable of. When he got to the arena he saw how Sasuke was already there waiting for him. Conan. Well, the same rules. Don't kill anyone and avoid using jutsus that hurt the spectators watching Sasuke, then fight. Conan jumped back. Sasuke pulled out a kunai, while Shikamaru thought of a strategy since the Sharingan would bring him problems. From his pocket he took out a smoke bomb, made it explode and disappeared. Sasuke looked around to see where the Nara was. Behind him, a shadow extended trying to reach him. He jumped and avoided the shadow. He knew that his rival was hiding in the tree. He made seals and shouted. Sasuke. Fire ninja art. Fireball. The attack hit the tree that immediately caught fire. He thought he had won, but a kunai grazed his cheek. He turned around and could see many shurikens coming towards him. He activated his Sharingan and with a kunai he deflected them, but without realizing that a shadow was going to capture him. At the last moment, he was able to move back, reaching the edge of the shadow. Sasuke. I knew your shadows had a limit, now I know what to do with you. Sasuke ran as fast as possible towards one of the walls where the sun was shining directly. He ran along the walls with the help of his chakra. While he was running he created two clones that jumped towards Shikamaru, who kicked him away from the shadows. When Sasuke saw how Shikamaru had fallen he jumped to kick him, but Shikamaru stepped aside. Thus began a Taijutsu battle where clearly the Uchiha had the advantage, but the Nara was not far behind. His plan was going as he wanted. With a kick he pushed Sasuke away and immediately used his shadows to stop him. When he connected to Shikamaru's shadow, Sasuke stood up and looked into the eyes of the Nara, who raised his hand. Shikamaru. I give up. Everyone was surprised by what he said because he had practically just won, and he gave up without further ado. Sasuke was with his eyes wide open and his ego on the ground. He gave up when he had already beaten him. Shikamaru. Cancelling his jutsu. I've run out of chakra so I couldn't hold you back any longer. I'm already bored, so goodbye. This is how the Nara left the arena and went to the stands. From above a girl looked at him with a smile which he saw, and they nodded at the same time. Conan walked to the center of the arena to call the next competitors. Conan. The next ones are Gaara sub Haku against Aiko Uzumaki. Go to the arena. Aiko came out of the ground while Gaara appeared from a whirlwind of sand. Mio looked at her crush, as she wanted to see how strong he was, so that her father and her brothers would let her have something with him. Rasa looked at her son with a serious face, while Kushina looked at the girl worried. She had read the report she received from him, and that during the previous exam, he almost killed the boy who had poisoned him, but it was suspicious since not any poison works against the Jinchuricus. Conan. Ready, fight. Aiko threw a kunai that was avoided by the sand. She smiled and began to run around him, so he wouldn't see where she was attacking. She created two earth clones and she disappeared. The clones stood face to face with Gaara in the middle of them. They drew seals and stuck their hand on the ground. Aiko. Earth ninja art. Mountain clash. From the ground came out some rocks that were going to collide, crushing him, but the sand stopped them without knowing. A column of earth came out of the ground that separated Gaara from his sand and received a blow to the face that sent him to the ground, being received by his sand when the stones collided because the sand stopped separating them. Aiko along with her clones drew seals, but these were faster and rarer. Aiko. Storm Ninja Art. Rain. Out of nowhere the sky clouded over and it started to rain. Gaara's sand got wet for him. It would be more difficult to use it, but not impossible. But more than out of nowhere a lightning bolt fell on the ground, giving a direct shock to the red-haired man. The Jounin were surprised by this strange jutsu that they had not seen. Gaara had resisted the attack and stood up and looked at the girl. His sand attacked her while she dodged the attacks. While running she drew seals. Aiko. Water Ninja Art. Moon Waves. He jumped into the air and a large amount of water came out of his mouth, forming powerful waves that attacked him, but he got up with the help of his sand. He had to end this. With the help of his sand, he went towards her and tried to hit her, but she held his arm, making him smile. Gaara. Endgame. Sand from his hand spread to the girl's body, leaving her immobile. Konan raised her arm, ending the fight. Konan. The winner is Gaara no Sabaku. The arena was filled with applause for the demonstration of jutsus and techniques. Aiko was released and offered her hand, ending the fight in a good way. Both left the arena for the next fight. Konan. Hinata Uzumaki vs Haku Namikaze is next. People were intrigued by those girls and their skills, so they were looking forward to seeing that fight. Both girls appeared in the arena looking at each other face to face with a serious face that would scare more than one. The atmosphere was tense, and more so when both changed their serious face to a dark smile. Konan was a little nervous, so she had to start quickly. Konan. Ready, fight. Both of them didn't move, they remained in place waiting for the first move. Everything was silent and out of nowhere, boom, a loud sound appeared out of nowhere. Looking closely at the arena, both had their fists colliding, over and over again. The blows they threw and received were incredibly strong, their level of fighting was very good. Both separated because this fight would not end with just fists, both began to quickly draw seals. Haku. Ice Ninja Art. Cold Cannon. Hinata. Steam Ninja Art. Melting. From the mouths of both came two different attacks that created a fog that did not let you see anything of the fight. Only sounds of metal against metal were heard. From time to time several kunes or shurikens flew out. When the fog disappeared, both had wounds and cuts on their body. This is not over yet. They ran to clash their weapons. They only had one hand available, and with that they traced one-handed seals. Haku. Ice Ninja Art. Cold Sembos. Hinata. Steam Ninja Art. Corrosive Air. The ice embos melted when the air became very hot. People sweated from the heat. The cages resented the heat except for Rasa. For him it was like a normal day of walking through the streets of his village. Haku was at a disadvantage. His chakra would be consumed, so he would make a dangerous move. He separated from her and drew seals. Haku. Ice Ninja Art. Death Viewer Mirrors. I thought that jutsu would sound better like that because in the anime Sasuke almost dies in their V. Around Hinata a dome made of several ice mirrors formed. Haku got into one of them. Hinata activated her Byakugan to look for the real Haku, because in all the mirrors, there was an illusion of her, or so she thought, since all the reflections were made of solid chakra, so she couldn't see her where she was. She felt a pang in her leg when a sembo buried itself in her. Another pang was created in her arm, another in her right side, another in her left shoulder, another in her right foot, another in her chest, another in her right hand, thus receiving more sembos. Konan was going to end the fight, but Hinata with one hand traced seals. Hinata. Forbidden Ninja Art Jinchuriki. Corrosive Steam Armor. Hinata's body was surrounded by a blue chakra. All the mirrors began to melt from the heat given off by Hinata's body. Haku left the dome, but as soon as she did, Hinata charged towards her, forming a circle on the ground. Hinata. 16 trigrams 32 claps. Hinata quickly closed Haku's chakra points, and when the attack ended she fell unconscious to the ground. The nurses came in to check on her. She was still alive, so they would take her to the infirmary. Hinata apologized to her and accompanied her. Konan. The winner was Hinata Uzumaki. The Ashi was serious as he looked at his daughter accompanying the nurses. His serious face did not show the regret he had in his heart. He had read a letter that his late wife had left him, and that changed his life completely. Konan. Next up are Issei Uzumaki vs Kitsuchi of the Rock. The girl was in the stands waiting for Issei to appear, but he did not appear. With the cages they were looking at Minato, who had a nervous smile because his wife was getting angrier and angrier. A ninja from the leaf approached him and spoke in his ear. Jounin. Hokage-sama, we have no information on Issei. We sent for him, but we haven't found him. What do we do? Minato. Tell Konan to go to the next fight to give my son time to show up. Jounin. Understood, I tell you. The Jounin told Konan what the Hokage had told her. She nodded and sighed. Inoki. It's rude to keep a lady waiting, couldn't they have raised him differently? Kushina. I'm sorry you think that Inoki, but I couldn't have the pleasure of being with him in his childhood, seeing him grow, teaching him to walk, being able to hear his first words, being able to tuck him in at night, taking him to his first day of academy, being able to cook for him, comforting him on the nights when he was scared. I couldn't be the mother he wanted. But despite that, I know that my son is good and that he must have a good reason for why he's not here. The cages remained silent, they should not say anything anymore, their hearts were hurt by the way Kushina spoke. They looked at the arena for the next fight. Conan. Well, for some reasons this fight will be postponed, so the next ones are Tamari no Subaku against Haruka Uzumaki. The red-haired girl jumped from the stands while Tamari calmly walked down the stairs. Once in the arena, they both saw each other face to face. Haruka had a smile while Tamari had a serious face. Conan. Same rules, ready, fight. Haruka ran towards Tamari to hit her, but she took out her fan and launched a blast of air. What she didn't expect was for Haruka to grow her right hand until she blocked the attack. When she was close to her, she grew her other arm to hit her, making her crash into the wall. She charged at her again, but Tamari took out the second moon and created an even stronger wind attack that lifted the girl into the sky and dropped her, but before hitting the ground, she made her hands grow so as not to hurt herself. Haruka. You're a good girl, I didn't expect more from one of Issei sensei's girls. Tamari. Haha, so you were one of her students. Haruka. Something like that, now let's stop playing games. Haruka made her hands grow and hit the ground, breaking it. From the hit, pieces of earth rose up. This Haru took advantage, since with her hands, she hit the fragments that went towards Tamari, who could barely do anything, as she could dodge the earth. Sometimes she had to protect herself with her fan until it broke and left her unprotected. Luckily the attack had stopped. She saw how Haruka smiled. Her plan was to break her weapon to have a better chance, but that did not take away more strength. Tamari breathed and began to run towards Haruka. She made her hands grow to crush her, but Tamari jumped and ran through the large hands of the girl, and when she was close to her, she kicked her in the face. Again she kicked her in the stomach over and over again until she lifted her a little and gave her another axe kick in the back, leaving her on the ground. Tamari. I can't only fight with my fan, you foolish girl got too confident and lost. The finish, he gave her a blow to the neck that left her unconscious. He got up, dusted himself off and left. The nurses came in and took the girl away. Rasa looked at her daughter with pride. Conan asked Naruto to rebuild the arena when everything was ready. It gave way to the next fight. Conan. Next up are Sakura Haruno vs Tenton Uzumaki. Both were already in the arena, eager to fight. Tenton had new clothes as did Sakura. Tenton had a dark red shirt with a white vest, short black shorts and black sandals with bandages on her arms and legs. Sakura also had new clothes that had been given to her by a Kain, who had told her it was time for her to dress differently. It's the image at the beginning of the chapter. Naruto looked at Sakura, whom he had not seen since he was there. Before his eyes she was beautiful. He remembered when he met her in that field of flowers when they were children. Flashback. Naruto was in the forest because he was bored. Issei was looking for food for dinner, so it would take a while, because he didn't want to be at home all day, so he went out to distract himself a bit. While he walked he could hear and see some children bothering someone, so he wanted to know what was happening. The closer he got the better he could hear. The OY1. Look how ugly she is. The IRL1. Yes, I don't even know why you're here. You should be locked up for being so ugly. CHILD2. Your forehead is very big, it seems like they hit you when you were little, and it stayed that way. The IRL2. Not even your parents must love you for being so ugly. The OY3. No one will love you like this. The children began to laugh at the girl in front of them who was on the ground crying because of what those children said about her, but a blow to the cheek from the last child distracted them. Another blonde-haired boy had appeared, distributing blows between them. The girls stepped back while Naruto hit the boys, but one got up and took the blonde by the arms, while the others hit him like the girls. After a while they had left the poor boy beaten, while the girl approached him to see if he was still alive. She poked his cheek with a stick. When the boy moved she got scared because he was badly beaten. I'm sorry, are you okay? Can you move? Naruto. Of course, I'm sorry about this, I thought I could handle them. They are the children of some ninjas, so they have been shown how to defend themselves. Naruto. Yes, I already realized that, but it doesn't matter anymore. My name is Naruto. My name is Sakura, thanks for that. Even though they hit you, they didn't bother me anymore. Naruto. That's what I was looking for. I don't like it when people bother people who haven't done anything to them. Don't feel bad about what those girls told you. You are very pretty with or without your forehead. Sakura. Do you believe that? Blushes. Naruto. Of course, if you were my wife I would kiss your forehead for life. The smile that Naruto gave Sakura that day changed her life. She no longer felt self-conscious about her appearance. As the years passed, she felt proud of her forehead because it was something that the boy she loved liked. End of flashback. Naruto looked proud at Sakura, she had changed from being a crying girl to being this girl who fights with her head held high without fear of losing, and that changed his life. Conan. Same rules, ready, fight. Sakura ran towards Tenton with 2 kunai in her hands, the girl with the buns took out several shuriken that she threw, but they passed by Sakura, she smiled, but Tenton pulled something, and the shurikens turned around and were going to hit her in the back, she turned around and blocked them, but received a kick in the back, she got up and saw how Tenton went against her with a kind of short scythe. The clash of metal sounded throughout the arena, Sakura moved away and hit the ground, and it broke throwing Tenton, she jumped to stab her, but she held her hand so that she would not hurt her. Minato. Kashina you? Kashina. She asked me for some help, I just taught her a thing or two. Tenton kicked her in the stomach and she was able to get up and move away to put some distance between them, but Sakura didn't stop there, she ran towards her, but as she did she created 2 clones that took out weapons and attacked Tenton at the same time, who protected herself from all of them at once. They fought skillfully, surprising many because their skills that they had at that age were surprising, that left many Kanoichis watching the fight open-mouthed. Tenton stepped back doing somersaults and when she stopped she took out 2 scrolls and stretched them out. Tenton. Ninja art. Twin dragons. Tenton began to spin as she rose, ninja tools flew out, but Sakura ran to dodge them and also repelled them with her kunes, but Tenton came out of the ground and hit her in the jaw and kicked her right side. When she was on the ground, 2 clones of Tenton were at her sides with a sharp blade on their neck and the real one had an arrow pointed at her. Conan. The winner is Tenton Uzumaki. All the women began to applaud for the fight between them that was on another level. Sakura stood up and Tenton shook her hand as a sign of pride in the fight. Conan. The last fight will be between Issei Uzumaki against Kitsuchi of the Rock. Now the girl was already coming down with a look of revenge. In the cage's box Minato was a little nervous. Minato. Issei please show up soon. Hey, I'm Hinata. The fights were somewhat intense, but those to come will be better since we will have to demonstrate all our power in order to win and move up the ranks. Next chapter. Exams Part 3. Rock Crash. Dimension DxD. The battle could be seen in a large field, a man with a spear and another man with blue wings watched this with a smile. This is perfect volley, without the presence of that pervert we can fulfill our plans without anyone being able to stop us. Volley. You're right Cow, but remember what that man told us, we must conquer this world as soon as possible. Cow. That will be easy, when we finish this we will go against the fallen, then the yokai, and we will see who to kill. But out of nowhere a powerful lightning bolt wiped out a large part of the Chaos Brigade's allies, a woman in red armor had appeared, the bad guys attacked her, but she killed them mercilessly. Volley knew that armor belonged to the Red Emperor Dragon, and that scarlet hair knew who was behind that armor. Volley. You killed your loving fiancé to have his armor, I didn't know you were this evil Rias. Rias. That has nothing to do with you Volley, you should be where my ice left you, in the depths of Tartarus. Volley. It's a paradise compared to what your house is now, isn't it? Rias. Did you plan all this? Volley. I could tell you yes but no, it was that man who with some nice words washed your brain and erased all the supposed love you had for Issei. Poor him, well since you are here, I should know how much you control Issei's power, so activating his balance breaker fight Brad. Thus both armors began a fierce fight. Chapter 34 Exams Part 3. Exams Part 3. The Mark. Everyone in the stadium was silent waiting for Issei to appear. Minato had a nervous smile, Kushina was bursting with anger at her son's lateness, Kitsuchi was angrily waiting in the arena, people were getting desperate, and soon the screams began for the fight to begin. Conan was serious thinking about what she would play with Yugito when she returned home. Outside the stadium the guards were at the entrance, from their places they saw a figure walking towards them, the closer he got they noticed it was Issei wearing his uniform, the guard spoke when he was at their side. G1. People are waiting for you, it's your turn to fight. Issei. Well, you can leave your legacy and go see my fight, it will end quickly. Both guards accepted the invitation and accompanied Issei who took out a bowl of ramen from a scroll. Already inside the arena the people stopped their screams, Issei continued walking towards Kitsuchi, he stopped but did not stop eating his bowl of ramen, the girl began to get angry. Kitsuchi. What took you so long? Issei raised his hand in a way to shut him up, when he finished his plate he threw it in the air and wiped his mouth. Issei. Sorry for being late but I was eating at Ichiraku's, the old man couldn't come, so I wanted to keep him company for a while, I'm already here so let's start the battle. Conan. The fight is Issei Uzumaki against Rock Kitsuchi, same rules, ready, fight. Kitsuchi did not wait and jumped into the fight, with her fist she tried to hit his face, but Issei held her fist, with her other arm she did the same, but she had the same fate. Issei. Calm down girl, I'm not going anywhere. Kitsuchi got angrier, she kicked his chest with her legs, she jumped back to see how Issei was drawing seals. Issei. Fire ninja art. Flames of the wise phoenix. Small balls of fire came out of Issei's mouth heading towards the girl, but she also drew seals. Kitsuchi. Earth ninja art. Earth dome. The dome protected her from the fire attack, but not for long as Issei traced seals again. Issei. Fire ninja art. Great fireball. Issei's fireball destroyed the earth dome, but when the attack ended Issei was able to dodge a kick from the girl by crouching, but she didn't end there. Kitsuchi. Earth ninja art. Rock fist. The girl's arm was surrounded by rock that hit Issei in the chest, embedding him in the ground, but Issei disappeared in smoke because he was a clone, she jumped because Issei had left the ground, in the air she drew seals. Kitsuchi. Water ninja art. Water horn. The place was filled with water, but Issei had been able to dodge the attack. Issei. Is that all, girl? Watching her float. Kitsuchi. Lava ninja art. Lime freeze. Balls of dust were thrown from her mouth, but Issei was able to dodge them. Kitsuchi. You fool fell into my trap, my lime technique acts like quick drying cement. Issei wanted to move, but he couldn't, she threw more lime at him again because it was for safety. Issei. Wow, I didn't see this coming. Kitsuchi. I will destroy your pride, earth ninja art. Rock spears. From the ground made of rock came out of the ground towards Issei, some of them passed through him, but disappeared in a yellow flash appearing next to her. Kitsuchi. But how? Issei. When I took your hands I put a seal on them. Kitsuchi turned to see him, a grave mistake since he had activated his Sharingan and had put her in a Jinjutsu. She opened her eyes and was in a forest, she recognized it, since it was a forest very well known to her, she heard footsteps behind her and saw Issei. Kitsuchi. Is this forest? Issei. It's the forest where your parents died. Kitsuchi. Why the hell did you bring me here? Issei. Because I'm sick of you and your grandfather holding us responsible for the death of your parents. Kitsuchi. That's because you and your stupid brother killed my dad and my. Issei. You're wrong, those responsible for the death of your parents are ninja under the orders of Yugura, the cage of the village of mist. Kitsuchi. Do you have evidence to support what you're saying? Issei. Yes, because I chased them down and killed them personally in a way that would give you nightmares for days. Kitsuchi. I don't believe you. Issei. You should, because of them I got back something that you should have, taking something out of a scroll to give it to him. She took from Issei's hand a necklace that her mother used, she opened it and inside there were two photos, one of them was her mother with her as a baby and another where the family of three was, her eyes became moist and she began to cry because the loss of her parents destroyed her and when she knew that she could fight against the person who had killed him, she had become more motivated. Issei. Now that you know, I want to tell you that I was going to your village to make a trade treaty by order of the feudal lord of the country of fire. Kitsuchi. Suppose I believe you, what are you looking for? Issei. The villages cannot be angry with each other because a very powerful enemy is approaching. Before she said anything the Jinjutsu had broken, in her hands, she still had what Issei had given her. She looked into Issei's eyes when she kicked him to separate them, since they were far away, she drew seals. Kitsuchi. Rock ninja art. Rock golems. Two large golems emerged from the ground and attacked Issei, but he dodged each attack, he would not stay still, he began to draw seals. Issei. Fire ninja art. Wild dance of explosive wind. The tornado of fire destroyed those things made of rock, but Kitsuchi came out of the ground with both of her hands surrounded by rock and gave her a strong blow that broke two of her ribs. Far away Issei knew that he shouldn't mess around, so he should give the final blow that would make her surrender. Issei. Wooden ninja art. Thorny wood prison. Under the girl in black leather, roots with thorns emerged that surrounded her and held her tightly. The thorns hurt her if she moved, and Oki was surprised as were the other cages because they thought that the legendary wood element was extinct. Issei. This is it, you can't do anything anymore. Kitsuchi. I will never give up against the murderer of my parents. Issei. And keep going on about it, I'm not bringing your parents into the mix, I don't have and didn't have any reason to kill someone from your village, despite being part of a team of assassins I kill for justice, so stop blaming me when neither of us have evidence to incriminate us. Looking at Inoki, stop your stupidity and understand that the assassins were mist ninjas sent by Yugura. Kitsuchi. Damn liar. Issei. Demon, you talk too much, girl. Issei approached her and planted a kiss on her lips, making her blush, angering several and surprising the others. Minato was with his mouth open as well as Kushina, Mio was surprised, and Irie was covering her eyes. Issei. I won't hurt a woman as beautiful as you, so give up. Konan just raised her hand and screamed when she saw Kitsuchi nodding. Konan. The winner is Issei Uzumaki. The couple of claps were heard when the winner was announced. Issei released Kitsuchi, she slapped him and ran away. Issei appeared next to Naruto while rubbing his cheek. Issei. She's hard to conquer. Naruto. Haha, it seems that way, but I think you have someone to settle some matters with. Issei turned around and saw his girls and his mother angrily cracking their knuckles. Enko. Anything you have to say in your defense, folksy? Issei. I love you so much. It remains to be said that Issei did not have a good time. Minato had given 15 minutes of rest for the participants. 15 minutes later. The fights had started again on Minato's orders. Conan. The first fight of the second round is Naruto Uzumaki against Sasuke Uchiha. Please both of you come down to the arena. Both boys were ready to start the fight. Conan stood between the two, raised her hand and lowered it, starting the fight. Sasuke drew seals at the same time as Naruto. Sasuke. Fire ninja art. Fire breathing. Naruto. Water ninja art. Water wall. The fire attack collided with the water barrier. The Jounin were surprised because he had just used a powerful water jutsu where there was none. When the steam covered the arena, clashes of metal could be heard. People wanted to see such a tremendous spectacle, but the water in its gaseous state did not allow it. When it was able to clear, they saw how both boys had wounds on their cheeks and body. Sasuke. Not bad, Naruto. Naruto. Same here, Sasuke, now go for real Uchiha prodigy. Sasuke activated his mature Sharingan and charged towards the blonde, who dodged a kick that was going towards his head. He drew seals and blew. Naruto. Wind ninja art. Strong current. The wind lifted him into the air and he drew high seals, took out several shurikens and spun them. Sasuke. Fire ninja art. Crimson dragon nails. The shuriken lit up and went towards Naruto, who moved to avoid the tools. When Sasuke fell into the sand, he drew seals known to many. Sasuke. Lightning ninja art. Chidori. Sasuke's hand was surrounded by lightning elemental chakra that took an unusual form. Naruto knew how this would be. Sasuke ran towards him with the aim of hitting him, but when he was about to hit him, Naruto moved, created a water Rasengan, and hit him in the stomach with enough force to send him crashing into a wall. Naruto. How did you learn that attack? Sasuke. During the month of training, Kakashi-sensei helped me learn this technique with which I will defeat you. Fire ninja art. Flame. A good amount of fire came out of the Uchiha's mouth as he headed towards Naruto. He was able to block it with a wall of water, but in the midst of all the commotion, Sasuke appeared behind Naruto with a Chidori in his hand to pierce him, but as he did so, the blonde exploded into smoke. He felt his feet sink. When he looked closely, he saw Naruto appear in front of him. Naruto. Rasengan. The Rasengan hit him in the chest. His inert body fell to the ground while Conan quickly appeared. Conan. Stop, the winner is Naruto Uzumaki. The nurses appeared to take Sasuke away. Karin, seeing this, ran after them. In the infirmary. The nurses were treating Sasuke, but he was in bad shape. They left Sasuke while they went to get a doctor. Karin approached him. Karin. Sasuke. Sasuke. Karin. Karin. I'll help you, honey, rolling up the sleeve of her blouse. Karin brought her arm to Sasuke's mouth and asked him to bite her hard. The black-haired man didn't know what was happening, so when he bit her, he began to heal quickly. He opened his eyes and saw that he had his girlfriend's arm inside his mouth, so he let her. Sasuke. What did you do, Karin? Karin. Being Uzumaki gives me a strange healing ability. You were in a bad state, so I helped. Sasuke. Thank you. Karin smiled and kissed Sasuke, who responded the same because they loved each other and they would show it to each other at least until the nurses returned. Chapter 35, Exams Part 4. Exams Part 4, The Strongest Women. Conan had just called out the next ones, which were Tenton against Tamari. Both girls were already in the arena looking at each other seriously. Tenton. Now that I remember, since you're with Issei, we haven't tested you. Tamari. I already know what tests you're talking about, and I can tell you that I'm ready to fight you and show you that I'm the one to be by Issei's side. Tenton. Well then, let's begin. Tenton pulled out a scroll and held it out to take out two large shurikens. She jumped back into the air and threw them at the blonde, who drew seals. Tamari. Wind ninja art. Gust. The shurikens were deflected towards one of the walls. Tenton had to think carefully about her movements, because if she made a mistake, getting past here would be difficult for her. The same thing happened with Tamari, because even with her arrogance she was afraid of losing. Both had trained with Issei, so they had to show what they had learned with him. Tenton. Well, let's see how this goes for you. Celestial dragons ascending. Tenton took out two scrolls. There was an explosion of smoke, and two silhouettes of Chinese dragons could be seen ascending, but it soon became clear that they were Tenton's scrolls, who jumped to be between the two, and from them took out different weapons that were thrown at Tamari. She did not have her fan, so she would move on to her other option. Tamari. Dance of the air current. Air currents came out of Tamari's hand, deflecting the weapons. When Tenton's attack ended, Tamari's too. Both were panting. Tamari would take advantage of her long-range element, so she quickly drew seals. Tamari. Wind ninja art. Cutting gust. The powerful wind had been released by Tamari, but she didn't count on Tenton being faster. Tenton. Sealing jutsu. Fire burst. Tamari's own wind reinforced Tenton's attack, which almost hit her, only she had been saved by jumping onto one of the walls. Tamari. Okay, damn it, I'll use Issei's gift from a scroll. She took out 2 small fans, but these were made entirely of metal. She bit her finger and stained each of her fans. Great launch of the quick decapitation. Issei opened his eyes upon seeing that technique. He knew what he could do. He just hoped that Tenton would think of something fast to get out of this. A large amount of wind came out shooting towards Tenton. Due to the force, a cloud of dust mowed everyone down. Little by little something like armor was seen, while on the other hand, Tamari was panting on her knees due to the use of chakra. The armor slowly put away, revealing a Tenton on the ground. Issei felt relieved because even though they had almost no chakra they were still fine, but then he noticed how both of them looked at each other out of nowhere. They were surrounded by a red aura. They stood up and their faces were different. Their teeth looked like fangs and their hair stood up. Hinata and the others knew that she looked like Issei when he used Kurama's chakra. Hinata activated her Byakugan and recognized her boyfriend's chakra within them. Hinata. Why do they have your chakra, Issei? Issei. I don't know, nervous. Enko. Are you sure, folksy? Putting a kunai on her neck. Issei. S sure. You must not lie to us, Issei. Issei was more than nervous as he felt his girls staring at him, but then his savior came, but I think not entirely. Naruto. Apparently having hex with them on the mark they have on their neck gives them a frenzy of their chakra. Then Issei freaked out when he felt the murderous aura of his girls, his mom, Rasa, Gaara, Kanguro and strangely Kitsuchi. Tenton. I will leave everything of myself in this jutsu. Tamari. Same here. Tenton. Sealing technique. Heavenly chain of destruction. Tamari. Wind ninja art. Great work of the dragons. Both had done that technique that Issei had taught them, but not to use it. The sky clouded over, and Tenton threw a large amount of scrolls. Out of nowhere a great blizzard that looked like a tornado took Tenton, while from a light rays of light began to fall that hit Tamari. After a small explosion, Tenton could be seen with deep cuts and Tamari with weapons stuck almost all over her body. Both were on the ground. The nurses quickly went through both of them. While Conan was still surprised by what had happened. If she had stopped them they would not have ended up like that. Conan. Seeing that both were seriously injured, it will be a draw. The next ones are Hinata Uzumaki against Yugito Uzumaki. Both go to the arena. Issei had seen that both were going to the arena, so he would take the opportunity to go with Tamari and Tenton. Hinata. Who do you think is stronger in fire? Yugito. In chakra you would win, but remember that it doesn't matter how much chakra you have, but how you use it. Hinata. I agree, then let's see who can win this. Conan. Fight. Both of them launched themselves into the fight. Yugito grew her nails, while Hinata took out a katana. Yugito. That was your gift from Issei, right? Hinata. That's right, what was yours? Yugito. This, taking out a scroll from which he took out a blue scythe. It seems that we both have sharp weapons. Hinata. It seems so. Clash after clash of their weapon sparks flew out. Kicks and punches were also introduced into the Kenjutsu fight. Hinata made a cut on his chest, tearing a bit of his uniform, while Yugito cut him a little on his stomach. This had to advance. Hinata surrounded her weapon with wind chakra, while Yugito surrounded it with blue fire chakra. People were surprised. Chunin and Jounin were even more surprised because that kind of skills had not been shown by Genin rank boys, but there they were, fighting like true professionals. Both of them separated in a jump. They had several cuts and burns on their bodies. Hinata. Can you help me, Kakuo? Kakuo. Of course, you brat. Yugito. Are you ready, Matatabi? Matatabi. Be careful, kitty. Both girls were surrounded by a tail of chakra. Why only one? Well, because both still did not have enough resistance. Now both girls with their new form put away their weapons. Yugito. Ninja art. Lion's mane. Yugito's hair grew longer and attacked Hinata, who performed a technique that surprised her parents. Hinata. Byakugan. Celestial rotation. Hinata spun quickly while creating a chakra dome, thus stopping Yugito's attack. Now faster, Hinata approached her. Hinata. Soft fist of the void. He quickly hit the blonde, who also tried to block the attacks, but almost all of them hit her squarely. Hinata stepped back a little, and only to hit her in the chest again. Yugito fell face down on the ground but got up, but now her eyes were white and her chakra exploded. The villagers were scared, even the cages, but Minato turned to look at Issei, who was watching the fight without moving a finger, and if he did nothing to stop it, it is because he should have known what was happening. Yugito had now released a two-tailed beast, revealing a cat made of blue fire with blue markings. Hinata had to use her last technique. She closed her eyes and made her chakra flow. Hinata. Ninja art. Twin dragon fists. In Hinata's hands, what looked like two Chinese dragon heads formed. The most experienced ninjas were even more than surprised because she had just shaped her own chakra. Madame knew what she could do with that technique, so she had to attack her soon. She tried to go for her, but Hinata was even faster and appeared in front of her. Hinata. Celestial technique of the Byakugan. 16 trigrams 128 claps. 2 slaps had resisted. 4 claps I felt his chakra move. 8 claps Hinata could feel her muscles tense. 16 slaps Matatabi was dragged backwards. 32 claps Matatabi's chakra was closed little by little. 64 claps the chakra had stagnated, but he was still in his Biju form. 128 claps Hinata felt her bones ache, but it was the last attack. The chakra of the two-tailed beast was completely closed, causing Yugito to fall to the ground unconscious and Hinata sweating from the loss of chakra. Conan. The winner is Hinata Uzumaki. Hey, I'm Issei. These were good fights, but the good stuff is still missing, and that will be seen in the next chapter, which will be the penultimate of this arc. I'm fed up with this. In the next chapter. Blood in the Sand. Chapter 36 Exams Part 5. Exams Part 5 Blood in the Sand. Everyone was shocked by what had just happened. Hisashi was pissed, his daughter, the former heiress of the Hyuga clan, the shy and weak girl, the despised of the clan, the dishonor of the family, she had just defeated the two-tailed Biju with a technique that not even the leaders dared to use because it used too much chakra. Hinata was too tired, she fell to her knees. The nurses came in to check on Yugito, but she had her coils empty, and so without chakra, Issei appeared and checked her. She was not in danger, but he still left a clone at her side. He approached Hinata who was sweating. Using so much chakra at once was too much for her body hurt. Issei. What hurts you, princess? Hinata. My whole body hurts. Issei. You did well darling, raising his sleeve, bite me. Hinata. What? Why? Issei. The Uzumaki clan has a special ability. I only know 3 people who can do this, me, my mom and Karen, so bite me if you do this, your chakra will recover immediately. She accepted, but still hesitating she bit him, sinking her teeth into Issei's arm. Almost immediately she felt her body relax and her chakra almost restored. She looked at her boyfriend who smiled. Issei. Pretty surprising, right? Hinata. Definitely darling. Issei smiled as he carried Hinata princess style, and for Issei she was. After they left the arena, Conan stepped forward mentioning the next competitors. Conan. Next in combat are Fu to Uzumaki and Gaara no Sabaku. Both jumped into the sand as they walked away. Naruto drew seals, and some places of land that had been destroyed were remodeled. Both looked serious, they were ready for the fight, but there was only one thing missing. Conan gave the starting cry. Fu quickly drew seals as he inhaled, and a pair of yellow wings emerged from his back. Fu. Dust release. Poisonous smoke. Gaara found himself in a bind as he was surrounded by poisonous smoke. He made a seal and surrounded himself with sand. Fu had to clear his attack to see the dome that now protected the red-haired boy. Kanguro. Damn if he's serious. Fu had an idea, but if he did it and failed he would lose a lot of chakra and become very weak. He drew seals and shouted. Fu. Typhoon element. Soft cut. Fu rose so high into the sky that the villagers could barely see her. Issei opened his eyes knowing what she was going to do. Gaara, with the help of an eye that was above the dome, saw what the girl was doing. She raised her hand, and around her a large amount of wind began to move that accumulated in her arm. From one second to the next she quickly came down with everything, and to the surprise of the Sabaku the dome fell to pieces. Everyone opened their eyes, seeing that the arena was completely destroyed. In the middle of the arena was Fu with her arm bleeding. She was breathing heavily as she looked at Gaara's inert body on the ground, but Gaara's body collapsed leaving Fu bewildered. The red-haired man appeared behind her to hold her with the sand. Gaara. You know, you were in a hurry to do that technique. You know that it is a very dangerous technique for both you and the one who receives it. I would kill you, but if my nanny finds out that I defeated you in this way she will scold me and will not let me eat ribs. Fu. Okay, I give up. Conan. The winner is Gaara of the Sand. Rasa had a smile on her face at her son's way of winning. Issei went down to help Fu. Some ninjas rebuilt the arena since it was destroyed. Conan addressed the spectators. Conan. We will give a short 30-minute break so that the participants of the next round can give their all. Issei and the girls decided to go get something to eat, but he wanted to go see Fu. When he entered the infirmary he saw her lying on a stretcher. She was crying. Without her realizing it he approached her, put his arms around her waist, and placed his face on her shoulder so he could speak into her ear. Issei. I am proud to have such a beautiful, brave and powerful girl by my side. Fu. I'm sorry I didn't win Issei. I know I should have won and made the clan proud. Issei. Of course you make us proud. You showed that you are not just any girl. You showed your power and strength. Rest assured that I will help you improve. Fu was happy and threw herself into Issei's arms to give him a big kiss on the lips. He followed her to finally hug her. 30 minutes later. Issei walked down one of the corridors towards the arena as the fights would begin. He could feel 2 chakras in front of him. He looked, and there were 2 men. He knew they were guards of a feudal. They approached him while looking at him with superiority. "Listen, brat, my boss is the feudal lord of the rock village. He has asked that when the exams are over, he will ask for your girls as bodyguards, and you will already know what it is about, haha, so if you do not allow it, they will kill you." Issei felt like something inside him was burning. He knew what that disgusting man wanted to do with his girls. He must have known what he had to do. He looked at them, and from his back came out 2 chains that pierced the men. He whistled, and Flake appeared ready to get rid of the bodies. When he reached the participants' box, he looked towards the feudal lords. Among them he saw the unfortunate man who had threatened him. He smiled grimly at him, which scared the man. Conan walked to the center of the arena, attracting everyone's attention. Conan. The exams begin with Naruto Namikaze's fight against Gaara no Sabaku. Both participants appeared in the arena. Conan looked at them both and started to fight. Naruto began throwing 3 kunes at the same time as he ran towards him. Gaara's sand held the kunes, but he didn't wait until one of them that had been thrown backwards went through the sand, helping Naruto evade his sand protection by kicking the red-haired man in the face. Gaara knew he shouldn't trust his sand. He raised his hand from the ground, causing a lot of sand to surround Naruto, covering him completely. He closed his hand, and the sand tightened. Smoke came out of the sand, surprising Gaara, who felt something next to him. When he turned around, he saw how his sand protected him from a Rasengan from Naruto, but another appeared above him. Another in front of him, another behind him, and the other on his other side. Clones of Naruto kept appearing and trying to hit Gaara, but he never expected the ground beneath him to break, letting Naruto out. He connected a rock Rasengan to Gaara's chest, lifted him up and let him fall. Thanks to the sand, he didn't hit, but Naruto was jazzed by the sand when he fell, but with his speed it was nothing. He had an idea. He walked along the wall, making hand seals, ready to attack. Naruto. Water release. Cutting jet. The water, due to the pressure, pierced the barrier, but Gaara stepped aside, avoiding the attack. Gaara drew seals and several clones of himself appeared, but made of sand. They went towards Naruto, who hit them, but in doing so, he passed through them. He reached a point where he was held by several. "Gaara. I got you." Naruto. "No, I have you," smiling. The flash appeared in front of him. It was Naruto with an Abadama Rasengan that hit him directly, sending him against one of the walls that went through him completely. Mio in the stands worried about the boy she liked. She couldn't believe her brother would do that. Naruto knew it wasn't over yet, because from the wall in a blur of speed Gaara appeared, but different since now his upper part was surrounded by sand, forming a beast. Just remember the form he had when he fought Naruto in the anime. Naruto received a blow to the stomach that fortunately held him. Lightly, but in front of him one of the most violent beasts landed, but he would face it. Naruto separated from him with a jump in the air, inhaled and released fire from his mouth that covered the sand, but when Naruto finally fell, he saw Gaara come out of the fire with a terrifying smile. Naruto began to let Kurama's chakra flow out and cover him, completely changing his facial features. You know what it looks like, so both in a blur of speed appeared and disappeared fighting in the sand. After several minutes a loud sound was heard coming from the sky and crashing against the ground. Everyone saw that in the middle of the arena was Gaara with blood on his face. Another explosion appeared, but on the other side, it revealed Naruto with his clothes torn and some wounds. Gaara tried to get up again, but Naruto, being faster, put his hand on the red-haired man's chest, thus sealing his Biju chakra. Naruto. I'm sorry, Gaara, but if you continue like this you can lose control. Conan. The winner is Naruto Namikaze. From the stadium only insults were heard for both of them, but with the chakra pressure coming from Minato, Rasa, Kushina and several Ambas as well as Jonas who controlled them, it was enough to stop everything. Conan. Hinata Uzumaki's fight against Issei Uzumaki will begin. Hinata, a little fearful, walked towards the arena. Issei took a last look towards the feudals and jumped from the stands. He approached Hinata and gave her a kiss on the lips and then slapped her on the butt, blushing her and annoying many. Conan. Okay, get started. Issei. Come on baby, come with everything in his fighting pose. Hinata. Okay, here I go. Hinata activated her Byakugan to go against Issei. She surrounded her fist in chakra just like Issei, who was preparing to receive such a blow. Chapter 37, End of Exams. Issei dodged Hinata's attack, but one after another he kept attacking. Issei had to activate his Sharingan as Hinata became faster with each attack he gave. From one moment to the next she took out her katana, making Issei unsheath one of its blades so as not to be hurt. The sound of metal clashing could be heard loudly. Almost no one could see the fight because of how fast they both were. They could only see each other when they were struggling. Kakashi, Obito, Sasuke and Kei activated their Sharingan to be able to see them, but they were still fast in their eyes. Hinata separated from Naruto, drawing seals ready to attack without mercy. Hinata. Fire element. Infernal dragons. Around Hinata, fire began to appear on the ground in the form of a spiral that little by little gave rise to 3 fire dragons that went straight to Naruto, who quickly drew seals. Issei. Water element. Solid dome. The dome of water quickly surrounded Issei before the dragons hit him, but at the same time Hinata was ready for another attack when Issei lowered the dome. Hinata. Steam release. Corrosive wind. Mei was surprised to see another user of the steam element, but she was more surprised to see how Issei traced some seals known to her. Issei. Lava element. Impenetrable wall. Both attacks collided, but it was seen how Issei protected himself again. Hinata looked at the ground because of her Byakugan. She saw how her boyfriend moved between the shadows, but he disappeared in the one on the wall. She looked for him, but before seeing him she felt him behind her. When she turned around, she already had the tip of Issei's katana on her neck. Issei. Scared. Hinata. Not at all. Hinata hit his with her katana, moving backwards, but now she was releasing even more chakra to her surprise and that of Issei. Inside her, Kakuo stood in front of her. Kakuo. Listen, I won't let that fool Kurama beat us so easily, so I'll give you more of my power. With 3 tails you'd be fine alone, try to kick his ass. Hinata. Okay, turning back, let's go for it. Outside Issei saw how Hinata let out 3 tails causing a layer of bloody chakra to surround her. Issei deactivated his weight seals, as well as now using his Mangekyo Sharingan, he took out his 2 katanas, as well as joined his other swords by the handle, and put them in his mouth. He let out a tail of chakra, and in one movement he was no longer seen as only a few blows were heard but nothing more. Everyone was searching but nothing, they only saw something crashing into the ground of the arena leaving a large crater. Due to the force everything moved as if even the tectonic plates had felt such a blow. Looking closely in that crater they saw something blue. Those who recognized it were surprised to see the first stage of the Susanoo's protection, which were kind of ribs, but with a hand. Inside it was Issei panting, one of his eyes was bleeding, and his katanas were red hot. Slowly Hinata appeared, but this time she was surrounded by something like steam. Issei. Your steam armor is amazing Hinata, but let's end this. Issei stood up and left his blades alone to keep the katanas, so he launched himself into the fight, but this time when Hinata was about to touch him he disappeared, only for him to reappear behind her with a Rasengan. Those who did not know that he could do it were surprised. That boy was fighting against a Jinchuriki as well as he had just shown an almost extinct Dijutsu. Techniques from his father, but they will be even more surprised. Issei appeared behind her with a Rasengan, but Hinata quickly turned and hit him but disappeared in smoke. From the well Issei drew seals. Issei. I'm sorry Hinata, but I want to fight my brother. Issei quickly touches Hinata's back. Thanks to having surrounded her hand with lava she was not burned by the steam armor, but upon touching it, Hinata's chakra mantle disappeared due to the momentum she was carrying, knocking Konan to the ground on her way to the arena to mark Issei as the winner, but Hinata slowly got up. Issei stopped Konan with a sign. Hinata. I haven't given up yet Issei finishing getting up I can walk I can still fight I'll show you why I'm the third in command of the Golden Leaves brandishing her katana. Issei. Then come for me without fear beautiful brandishing one of his sharp blades. Hinata went for Issei, but this time she was not as fast, but she was still somewhat fast with that weapon. It was admirable, but something alarmed them because little by little bruises or cuts appeared on Hinata, but none of that stopped her. After a few minutes the last sound of metal rang out. Hinata was losing blood, so Issei stopped her. Issei. Enough Hinata. Hinata. No I can't stop I don't want to be called weak again I have to be strong. And Hinata's fists began to flutter steam chakra that formed 2 dragons, but they were not like before since these were red. Quickly gave a last blow, but this one was so strong that it created a gust of wind that made even the cages hold their hats. Issei had to activate his Susanoo before it hit him, but even this one almost broke. After that last attack Hinata fell to the ground unconscious. Issei approached to check on her and she was alive. The medical team took her to heal her. Sakura Ino and Kain followed her to make sure she would be okay. Konan. Due to this strong confrontation we will take a 10-minute break. Issei jumped to the box where the others were. Anko approached to give him a kiss to the jealousy of some. Anko. Weren't you too harsh on her? Issei. She is strong sitting down to deactivate his Dijutsu she is so strong that I am proud that she is by my side. Anko. Well make sure you cheer him up when he wakes up. Anko left. Naruto walked over to stand in front of his brother. Naruto. Do you want to fight at 100%? Issei. Of course, we still haven't seen who is the strongest of the two. Naruto. Well, get ready, brother, because the fight we're going to have will be legendary. Naruto left. Issei saw how his mother called him. He jumped with the help of chakra and stood in front of her. Kushina. Are you okay? You didn't hurt yourself anymore. Starting to heal him. Issei. No mom, just chakra wear. Kushina. Well then, put up an incredible fight. I'm sure your dad will put you and your brother in the jounin rank, but still, give your best, okay? Issei. Of course. Kushina finished healing her son, gave him a kiss on the cheek and wished him luck, so Issei was ready for the fight. 10 minutes later. Conan was in the arena. Conan. To end the Chunin exams fights, the fight between Naruto Namikaze against Issei Uzumaki. Both were already in the arena, they stared at each other, Conan started and jumped back because she knew the power of those children and did not want to be in the middle of that fight. Issei unsheathed his blades while Naruto took out 2 kunes. Here put the beginning song, it's the one that inspired me to write this fight. Both deactivated their weight seals and launched themselves. At the first hit the weapons collided and gave off sparks. Naruto jumped back to take out a katana, thus they entered a kenjutsu fight. It could be noted that Issei had more experience in this type of fight, but due to Naruto's speed he could match him. Issei gave a side slash, but Naruto jumped in the same second he threw a kunai. Issei noticed that the weapon passed by his face, but in a flash Naruto appeared at his side and kicked him in the rib. Issei resisted the impulse of the kick, but now Naruto threw 2 kunes that stripped Issei of their blades. He activated his Sharingan, since he knew that now a taijutsu fight was coming. Naruto threw punches and kicks, but in an opening Issei connected a blow to the stomach and a kick to the face that sent him back. Naruto stood up, wiped the blood from his face and used a hand seal that made several Naruto clones appear. Issei was going to do the same, but they didn't let him. Clone after clone attacked Issei. There were at least 20 of them, but their speed was enough to overwhelm Issei. He got fed up, he took a big leap into the air and made seals. Issei. Fire release. Dragon breath. A huge flame of fire completely covered the arena, surprising many, but even more so when they heard another scream. Naruto. Water element. Twin dragons. 2 large dragons made of water came out of the flames, they rose a couple of meters and fell to put out the flames, steam was seen, Issei fell silent and quickly caught a fist that was going to his face, which at the same time his fist was held when it was about to hit his stomach. The spectators saw both brothers holding their attacks, but Issei smiled. Issei. You should always have a plan B, brother. Naruto felt something being embedded in his stomach, he looked down and saw a knife coming out of Issei's wrist. Naruto. Stupid sensei. Naruto moved away, little by little the wound was closing. Issei saw his brother who had his clothes a little burned. Issei. You want to go for more, right, brother? Naruto. Come on, let's intensify this fight. Issei drew seals and hit the ground. Issei. Wood element. Rebirth of life. The entire ground around the arena began to shake and rise, little by little it rose, revealing that it was lifted by what seemed to be a tree. The sand separated to give more space for the fight. The spaces that were given in the stands were sealed with wood. Everyone watched with amazement that technique, even the cages were surprised, because the wood element was controlled by the god Shinobi. The first Hokage. Minato, how is it that your son can control the wood element? The only one who could was Inoki, the first one. It's been a long time since I've seen something like this power is similar to theirs. In the stands Tsuchi was sitting next to Ki, both were amazed. Tsuchi. How much power does Issei have? Ki. I could tell you a lot, but from the looks on Issei and Naruto's faces they still have more. Issei looked at his brother, both of them threw several kunes known to many, they took out their katanas, these were surrounded by lightning and the other by wind, they were surrounded by the chakra mantle, until they formed 3 tails, in the other hand of the boys who Rasengan was formed. They went to collide leaves that now release chakra, they collided techniques, and these creaked so loudly that everyone covered their ears, both flew out from the clash, but in a flash they disappeared, so they only saw how they appeared clashing swords, but again they disappeared to reappear, they did so until they collided techniques again, now both were in different sections of the arena. Issei drew seals. Issei. Hell release. Carbonization. Issei inflated his chest with air to spit out an exaggerated amount of fire that everyone felt the heat it gave off. Naruto drew seals. Naruto. Typhoon release. Sinful tide. I don't remember if the typhoon is water or wind type, but if you know, tell me and I'll change it for another one. This time Naruto spat out a large amount of water that hit the fire. Needless to say everyone was surprised by what had just happened. One created an exaggerated amount of fire, while the other brought out an incredible amount of water out of nowhere, something that could not be done, something that only one person in 1,000 could do reference. The arena was once again covered in steam, but it was quickly cleared as a gust of wind was launched by Naruto. Naruto. Wind release. Golden decapitation dagger. Issei dodged a technique with the Hirishin, but as soon as it reappeared he launched his technique. Issei. Lightning release. Spear of honor. A spear created from lightning went straight to Naruto's chest, who disappeared until he was in front of Issei, immediately stabbing him in the stomach. Naruto. Are we continuing? Issei smiled as he placed one of his fingers on the blonde's forehead. Naruto. How I hate you. Naruto was thrown strongly towards one of the walls that was created out of wood. Jiraiya laughed loudly at seeing that. From the hole that Naruto created, 3 yellow chains came out that collided with Issei's chains. Issei. Clever but useless move. Naruto. You think so? Issei was able to dodge a katana that passed in front of him that was surrounded by lightning element chakra. He created a Rasengan that turned around and hit his brother in the chest, but he disappeared in smoke. Issei concentrated, and when Naruto appeared with a kunai in hand, the red-haired man disappeared in the shadows. Naruto searched with his eyes, but he didn't expect some hands to grab him by the ankles and sink him into the wooden floor. He saw how Issei had his wrist dagger on his neck. Issei. Check. Naruto. My turn to move. Naruto disappeared in smoke to appear in the sky with an Obadama Rasengan. He went all out against his brother, but the latter looked at him with his right eye which bled and was immediately surrounded by the Susanoo armor. When the technique collided, the armor disappeared to force Naruto to cover himself from a kick from Issei, so both got into a taijutsu fight. Everyone was nervous about the fight. Their blows were so fast that some jounin would dream of being able to evade one of those. After 20 minutes they were both panting. Kurama's chakra was still there. They knew they could continue fighting for weeks, but they wanted to end it here and now. When they separated, Naruto spoke. Naruto. During the exam training you surely created a technique, right? Issei. Of course, you did the same. I think it's time to see which one is the most powerful. They both raised their right arms. Kurama-1. Issei listens, this technique is still unstable, you haven't been able to control it well, so you only have chakra for one of them, understood? Issei. 1. But if I don't use up that much chakra? Kurama-1. This technique is such that it makes your chakra conduits go crazy, so be prepared. Kurama-2. Naruto, this technique is very dangerous for both you and him, so you can only use it once. Naruto. Once I have. Well, let's see how strong my new creation is. In Naruto's hand, wind and lightning element chakra began to gather. It creaked and created gusts of wind while covering his hand with rock element. The girls who were in the infirmary watched the fight from the box. On Issei's arm, chakra of the lava element as well as steam gathered, while at the same time covering his arm with mud element. The heat that gathered made what was seen through them look completely blurry. But the 3-tailed chakra cloak, it was not enough to stabilize the techniques, so the body of both turned bloody red. Everyone was alarmed. It looked like the previous Jinchurikis. The 4 tails of both moved wildly. Naruto. Rasenshuriken. Issei. Rasendragon. Both disappeared in a blur to clash techniques that little by little seemed to merge, but at the same time repelled each other. The force began to pass to the others, that the gusts of wind threatened to blow away those who were stupid. The civilians were helped by the ninjas, who with chakras stuck to the ground. The technique subsided and they were covered in an explosion. They were all blinded when they could see. The sand was slowly lowered by the tree that went into the ground. Already on the ground, they could see how both brothers were in the sand with their arms purple and bleeding, as well as their body full of cuts and burns. Both were unconscious. Who had won the fight? Chapter 38, A Man's Bet. Minato and Kushina walked through the halls of the hospital where their children had been taken due to their injuries. When they arrived, they saw their children on a separate stretcher. Their arms were bandaged, with which they had created their techniques, because they had ended up very injured. They also had bandages on their bodies, because the cuts and burns had not yet healed. So they entered and approached their children who were beginning to wake up. Kushina. Hello my babies, how are you feeling? Naruto. Bad mom. Issei. I feel like I trained with Issei sensei when I was 6 years old. Minato. You guys put up an amazing fight. I'm very proud of you. Your sister Mio has been saying that she also wants to create a variation of the Rasengan like you. Issei. It's a little complicated, but maybe we can help him. Naruto. The most important thing here is. Issei. Who of the two won? Minato. Well, we couldn't find out since they were both lying in the sand, very injured, so a tie was declared. Naruto. Like a tie. If my technique was more powerful than Issei's. Issei. You're crazy, it's obvious that my technique was more powerful. Kushina. Pulling both of their ears, you are both idiots for using such dangerous techniques, you will be punished. Issei. Naruto. Ouch ouch mom, that's not fair. Kushina. Releasing them, well they deserve it. Minato. Right now I'm going to have a clan meeting to decide who will rise in rank, but due to your injuries, you won't be able to be there. Issei. No problem, I'll send Yura, she's the person I trust the most for clan matters, she'll know how to handle it. Kushina. By the way son, she is. Issei, she is my right arm, don't worry, she knows what to do. Minato. Well then the meeting will start in 30 minutes. Both parents left, a nurse came in to give them a quick checkup and left, then Issei drew some seals. Issei. Sealing art. Uzumaki summoning. In the room in a cloud of smoke appeared Yura in a black uniform. Yura. At your service Issei-sama. Issei. Yura, I don't need you to do any ninja work, I just need you to be present at the clan meeting that will take place in a few minutes. Yura. Sure, what do you want me to do? Issei. This time he only sees what is best for the clan. Yura. Understood, I'll be back when the meeting is over. Issei watched as Yura left and turned to look at Naruto who was standing up. Issei. Look brother, there are 2 wheelchairs there, do you have the same idea as me? Naruto. Of course yes. The nurses and doctors who were in the hallways only felt 2 gusts of wind pass by them. These were Issei and Naruto who were competing in a race. At the meeting minutes later. All the important clans were gathered, along with the advisors and cages who were visiting. Minato was last to enter, but before he could close the door, it was stopped. Minato. I'm sorry little one but you can't come in here. Yura. I'm sorry Hokage-sama, I'm Yura Uzumaki, Issei Uzumaki's right-hand man, who sent me here on his behalf. Minato. Or I'm sorry, come in. Yura walked past, but not before asking where her place was. Minato pointed at her with his finger, and she walked on. Everyone looked at her, but she didn't even blink. As soon as she got to her place she sat down, she was between Hisashi and Mikoto. Minato. Since we are all here, I will begin the meeting for the promotion of ninjas. Hisashi. First of all Minato, who is the little brat here? Yura. My name is Yura Uzumaki, I am Issei's representative, and I don't care who you are, you old piece of shit she answers, while reviewing some of her papers. Hisashi. Who do you think you are? I am the leader of one of the most powerful clans, you must respect me. Yura. As I said before, I don't care who you are, you old piece of shit. In my clan, there must be respect on both sides, and you didn't have any, so shut your mouth and let the Hokage speak. Hisashi. You. Mikoto. Shut your mouth already, you were rude before so that's enough. Minato. Well, leaving that aside, let's start with the promotions. We begin with those who made it to the 3rd phase, since the others, who did not make it to the 2nd or 3rd, were disqualified. The first is Shikamaru Nara. Mikoto. That boy is very intelligent, which is true for all of Nara, but he is even more so than his own father, and if he continues training, I cannot deny that he will become a great ninja. Minato. Well in that case I vote in favor of him rising to the Chunin rank. Everyone raised their hand except for 2 people so Shikamaru moved up in rank. Minato. Okay, next is Sasuke Uchiha. That boy is very strong for his age, he has awakened the Sharingan as well as evolved it to the 3 blades, and Uchiha like that is very interesting. Let's not forget that he is the brother of Itachi Uchiha Ninja, who is very famous everywhere, so he has my support to rise in rank, but even so, he must have even more experience to rise to Jounin, so he should be 1 grade lower. Minato. Votes for Sasuke to rank up. Everyone raised their hand. Minato, we continue with the next team, Team 8. Shikaku. Without a doubt the 3 are still inexperienced, the only one who could rise in rank would be Shino Abiram. Minato. I vote for him to rank up. Everyone raised their hands, so the Abiram had risen in rank. Minato. Next is Team 9. Rasa. There is no doubt that that strange boy with green swaths is very strong in Taijutsu, as well as that Hyuga boy who although he did not show much strength, I can say that he is. Hisashi. Of course he is, my clan considers him a true genius. Rasa. Yes, and also that this girl with the buns on her head is very skilled with weapons, but also that I heard that she was trained by the boy Issei, so I would not hesitate to raise her in rank. Minato. Votes for Team 9 to rank up. Almost everyone raised their hand except for the 3 counselors, so all 3 rose in rank. Minato, what do you think of the rock girl? Hisashi. Well, she faced the Uzumaki boy, she showed good skills, and if she continues training, she certainly has the right to rise in rank. Minato. Well, we leave that to Inoki. Next up is the Sand team, since all 3 of them have moved on to the 4th part of the exam. Kushina. All 3 are very skilled, especially that boy Gaara, as well as the girl Tamari, who showed some of my son's beast chakra, since she apparently had sexual relations with my son, and if this persists and she can control it, she will be a kunoichi. Rasa. What do you mean he had sex with my daughter? Minato. Calm down Rasa, if your daughter gets pregnant my son will marry her. Yura. Without a doubt, the clan laws order it that way, and Mr. Issei knows it. Minato. We already discussed that later, now we have that Uzumaki girl named Haruka. Yura. She is a girl who has been trained by Mr. Issei as well as she has become my pupil, so she has an incredible future, so don't be upset about her, the clan will discuss it. Minato. Well finally the Golden Leaf team are Team 11. Many of those who heard that name felt a chill run through them. Counselor I don't care about his name, but they are those old men who told him that you would revive the Golden Leaves team. Minato. I asked my balls and they told me Simon. Everyone had a small laugh at what the Hokage said. Counselor. You are the leader of the village, but that does not give you the right. Minato. It gives me the right to even remove you due to the law imposed by the first Hokage. If I want I can do and undo as I please, so no one will tell me anything. Remember that you are only there to advise, not for anything else. Thinking about it well, you are demoted from your positions. The counselors were surprised but did not say anything since with just a snap 4 Ambu took the old counselors out of the room, as well as Danzo who looked at the blonde with hatred. Yura sighed, because from the beginning the old warhawk's gaze had her nervous. Minato. Tomorrow I will decide who will be on my council, now continuing with the team of the Golden Leaves. Yura. Well, if the information I have collected due to the talks with my lord Issei, the team is made up of 6 people, so it is the largest genin team, now among them are 4 Jinchurikis, 9, 2, 5 and 7. Inoki. How come Konoha has 4 beasts? Minato. We don't have any beast, the carriers are with us because of many things. 9 was because 14 years ago the beast attacked and I was forced to seal it in my children. 2 because in her village they mistreated her, so my son brought her with him at this age. Got a little nervous and sad. 5 because a couple of years ago rock ninjas wanted to kidnap the former Hyuga heiress, in case you don't remember, at that time my predecessor Hiruzen led the rescue. The 5-tailed Jinchuriki attacked them and released the beast, so he divided it and sealed it inside the girl Hinata. Finally the girl of the 7 tails is because the leader of the waterfall asked me to. The other cages looked at the waterfall leader who nodded. Inoki was very angry at this. Yura. Continuing with what I was saying, in addition to what I said before, they have 3 possessors of a Dijutsu. They have fulfilled all their missions perfectly. In fact it is the only team of its rank to fulfill several S-rank missions. They have a record of missions accomplished since it was formed. The 5 boys have the right fully. They also possess jutsus from rank B to SS. What else do they want? Shikaku. If we want that team to benefit us, how about we raise it to the Jounin rank? Almost everyone passed except for the Uchiha girl who could rise to the Chunin rank. Minato. In favor of them moving up in rank. Everyone raised their hands. Mikoto was happy for her 2 sons who of course were not like their older brother or their father, or even her, but they were still very strong. Minato. With this I end the meeting. Gentleman Cage, I will see you tomorrow to sign the alliance between our villages. Before everyone left, I approached Minato who stopped because he was already being carried by his wife because it was her day. Hey. Minato, I want to ask you something. Minato. What's wrong? At the hospital. Issei and Naruto had been racing in the wheelchairs until they got tired and went to their room. Once there they began to play rock paper scissors, then they heard a knock on the door and all their girls came in who upon seeing them rushed to hug him, but only in Naruto's case, because in Issei's case, Aiko began to scold him for using such a dangerous technique. Yugito only told him that he had to recover, while Hinata punished him with some things and the others looked at him in denial. Issei. Girls, I look like a boy, he said indignantly. Aiko. Well then you shouldn't make us worry while pulling her ear. Issei. Yeah, it hurts when he let go, better come and give me a hug and kiss while stretching his arms. Everyone, including Ki and Tsuchi, hugged him while giving him kisses as there were too many. Issei didn't even know where so many displays of affection came from. Naruto and the others saw this with thanks. Then the door was opened, revealing Minato, Kushina, Yura, and another black man with glasses. Minato. I'm glad to know that you're better now. Naruto. That's right, I think we can do it. We don't like hospitals. Kushina. Normally I would tell them no, but knowing how they are they would surely run away. Minato. Well, we are here because the Raikage Dono wants to propose something to you. Issei. What is it about? I want to challenge you to a fight against me and my brother. If you manage to beat us we will sign an alliance with the Leaf Village and the Whirlpool Village. Issei looked at Naruto and he nodded and they all went to the Hokage's training camp. When they were there, the Nami-Yuzu brothers had their combat clothes, so the Raikage and the other weird guy who they now knew was called Killer Bee, the 4 of them saw each other face to face. Who of you is the fastest? Issei. It's Naruto, but we're going 2 against 2. Then Killer Bee prepared themselves, while the Raikage used his lightning armor, and Bee took out his 8 swords to everyone's amazement. Naruto used a 1-tailed chakra cloak and his eyes changed. Issei took out his katanas, the one Tenton gave him, and his mother at the same time activated her Sharingan, so both took out their special kunes and went against those from the cloud. Naruto threw 6 kunes that passed by. A was about to hit Naruto, as his fists were close to his face. Naruto disappeared in a yellow flash. When A stopped he had a katana on his neck and he felt sharp pains around his body as Naruto and his clones hit him, threatened all over his body. Naruto. You have beautiful memories, Mr. A showing some photos that A always carried with him. Was he so fast as to create clones, threaten me and also register me? How fast can he be? On the other hand, Killer Bee was able to stop Issei's attack, but when he was going to attack him, he disappeared and reappeared behind him. When he turned around, he stopped one of Issei's blades that was about to hit him in the stomach, so Bee had to be turning, stopping and receiving each of the attacks that Issei gave him, but he realized that there were kunes around him. He quickly jumped back, thinking that without the kunes he couldn't use that technique. Killer Bee. Okay, now the butterfly technique, I'll make him so ugly that he won't have a wife. Wait a minute, his dad. When he realized he received a blow that sent him to the ground, Bee got up and got into position, but Issei put away his katanas. Killer Bee. What's wrong, are you scared? Issei. Not at all, how can I fight someone who has no weapons? He saw his blades, but they had no blade because even the base was bright red, as if the metal had melted, but he would not give up so easily. He spoke to him, and when Issei turned around, Bee charged at him. Killer Bee. Lightning element. Lariat. Issei received the attack. Who saw this out of the corner of his eye smiled, thinking that his brother had won, but it was not so. Such an attack raised dust which took advantage of and freed himself from Naruto. I thought that now it would be 2 against 1, but when he saw Bee's arm was on Issei's body, but he had his arm on Bee's ribs. Approached his brother, but he fell unconscious to the ground. What did you do? Issei. That attack was strong but not enough. It is not the first time that I face something like that. It is because I have already taken my precautions. He will be fine. I just injected him with a paralyzing poison. Well, how about we continue? Issei went against but he was going to hit him. Before he touched him, he received a kick in the face that pushed him away. Issei drew seals. Issei. Wood release. Bloody cage. Branches came out of the ground and trapped the raikage, but before he could free himself he felt something enter him. They were some branches that pierced him in exact parts that left him immobile. Issei. You were too confident, Mr. Raikage. If you had come for us seriously, you would have given us a better fight. Naruto. Yeah well, who's hungry? Hi, I'm Jiraiya. My grandchildren's fight was good, but they still have a lot to give. In the next chapter. The Little Girl's Dream. Chapter 39, A Little Girl's Dream. I'm back here with more information than before. I bring you something that I hope you like, and that is that I will be broadcasting live as I write the next chapter of this story on Omelette Arcade, but because it is likely that someone does not have an internet connection or cannot download the app, I will do it through my official Facebook page, so follow me there with my name ZykxDragon. So if you want to know before anyone else the content of this story, or if you read another of my stories, connect and stay tuned as I will leave the date, time, title of the story that I will write and more. We can interact, ask me questions, play too, since I also play video games like Call of Duty, Clash Royale, Mobile Legends, Last Day on Earth, Standoff 2, and more. Don't miss it. Yumu. It was night in the Leaf Village, and the Nami-Yuzu family was celebrating everyone's promotion, but Jiraiya was outside, more specifically on the roof, looking at the moon while writing his new book, but his attention was focused on his little granddaughter Mito, who had a slice of cake in her hands. Myth. Why doesn't Grandpa come with us? Jiraiya. I wanted to be alone for a while. Mito just smiled as he walked over and sat next to her. Myth. Was Grandma pretty? Jiraiya was surprised by the question. He smiled, putting down his book to look at the moon. Jiraiya. She was so beautiful that the moon was jealous of her. Myth. What happened to her? Mom didn't want to tell me anything about her, and I feel a little embarrassed to ask Dad. Jiraiya. Haha, well how do I put it? She left, she found happiness somewhere else. My goal was to make her happy, so I let her go. Myth. Did you love her? Jiraiya. Since I have never loved anyone, I gave everything of myself to be by his side. Myth. Do you know where it is currently? Jiraiya. I doubt it, she is very elusive, but I could find her. Mito was interested in it, she wanted to meet her grandmother, there was something inside her that told her that she was very important. 2 weeks later. 2 weeks had already passed, the boys had already received their promotion. During those days Issei and Tamari had spent time together playing pranks on the Ambu. Kakashi had been attentive to his wife, who scolded him for being too overprotective. Mei had spoken to Issei, the Kages had signed the alliance, everything was fine and correct. Right now all the teams were gathered to receive their missions. Minato. Well, let's start with this. Team 7, your mission will be to go to a town near the Rock Village. Inoki asked me to help him, since there have been reports of Class A and B bandits. This mission will serve to make the Rock see our potential. Kakashi nodded, taking the scroll from the desk. The 4 of them left, but not before Naruto and Issei said goodbye with a fist bump. Minato sighed as he read the next scroll. Minato. Okay girls, your mission will be to go to the Wave Village to make sure that its inhabitants have recovered. The feudal lord is interested in investing in that place, so he needs to be sure that the bad is past. I send you since I think you will know how to handle it. Kurenai took the scroll to leave with her students behind. These three only said goodbye to their friends. On the way they would catch up with Naruto and also say goodbye. Minato. Team 9, your mission will be to accompany the leader of the waterfall village who will return to his town, and I want you to arrive safely. Be careful, we don't know what you will face. I very happily took the scroll as he left shouting things about the will of fire being followed by Lee, and strangely Tenton approached Issei and gave him a delicate kiss on the lips, thus leaving behind his companions. Minato. Team 10, your mission will be to go with Hokage to his village, since he will give you a very important scroll that you must take to the rock village, so leave immediately. Asuma nodded to leave with his students behind him. Finally Minato got up to hug his wife, who seemed so beautiful to him, already loving Kushina spoke. Kushina. Guys, you must go with me to the village of Mist. Your mission will be to go in reconnaissance to the village. With your level Issei you will be accompanied by a medium group of Jounins. It is your first mission being the leader of the Golden Leaves. Show what the Uzumakis are made of, if possible end that war. Issei nodded to take the scroll, put on his mask just like the girls, and they vanished. Minato and Kushina were kissing, but were interrupted by Jiraiya and Mito who were still in the office. Mine. Father, mother, I'm still here. Minato. Sorry daughter, what's wrong? What do you need? Mine. I've been talking to my grandfather and I've convinced him to take me to meet my grandmother. Minato suddenly became serious upon hearing that. He looked at his father somewhat annoyed. Jiraiya. I didn't say anything Minato, she's been investigating about your mother and wants to meet her. Minato. I don't know what to tell you, daughter, she left many years ago, the last time I saw her she was leaving the village. Myth. Please dad, I know that she trained mom, and even though I know that my training with my brothers is good, in my brother's exams, I realize that I still have a long way to go. If I find her maybe she can teach me something new. I want to meet my grandmother. Minato didn't know what to say. That woman who had given him life had also made him the worst version of himself. He didn't want the same for his daughter. Kushina. I don't see a problem with that, honey. Minato looked at her. She can learn good things, so she can continue training. Minato. Okay, go, meet your grandmother. Leo smiled as he ran to hug his dad and mom and ran out to prepare his backpack. Kushina asked Jiraiya to take care of Mio, so this trip would begin. In another part of the village. So you've already gathered the necessary information. That's right, everything is ready, we've all done our part. Well then everyone get ready, the war against Elif is near. With Jiraiya and Mio 2 days later. They were both leaving another town, it was the third one they were in, the clues would lead them to her sooner or later, but while they were traveling Mio trained her physical strength using weights that Naruto had given her, she also trained with her staff. Mine. Hirojuji was grandma good at fighting. Jiraiya. Of course she was good, she was the strongest of all, in fact the fact that she was tough was something that made me fall in love with her. Mine. I'm dying to meet her. Jiraiya. Why are you so insistent on finding your grandmother? Mine. My brothers are very strong, the first day I trained with them I realized that I was looking at their powerful backs. I also want to be strong, my simple intelligence will not help me much if I do not try hard, so I want to be strong like grandma. Jiraiya. Well then let's go, we're sure to find her. Mio and Jiraiya began a race towards the next village. Elsewhere. Orochimaru was lying on a bed while he was being healed of his wounds. I'm still surprised by what those guys did to him. Orochimaru. I trusted them because they were younger, now what I have to do is find someone to help me with my condition. I've already been looking for someone, I assure you it will help you, just give me a little more time. Orochimaru. I'll give you 2 days at most to find her. The future was certainly tainted. Hi, I'm Minato. My daughter certainly looks a lot like her mother, I wouldn't want to see her angry. In the next chapter. Grandma. Chapter 40 Grandma. A week had already passed since Mio and Jiraiya had left that town. Right now they were heading to a supposed place where they would find that woman they had been looking for so much. Mine. Grandpa, are you sure he can be in that town? We've been with this for 6 years. Jiraiya. Well, with her it's normal, she's always done the same thing, this is normal. Mine. But I'm tired of doing the same thing. Jiraiya. Well you wanted to come anyway. Mine. You're right but I didn't think it would be so complicated. Jiraiya just laughed at his poor granddaughter, so after a day and a half more of walking, they arrived at a somewhat large town. Mine. Is this town celebrating? Jiraiya. This place is not always the same, parties and games are her business, it is a perfect place for her. Mine. I want to go look for it now jumping. Jiraiya. Well, let's go, we still have time before the sun goes down. Mio just walked around the place looking at everything as if it were the first time he had seen it, but he was still happy to be there. Jiraiya only remembered those moments he had with the love of his life, it still made him sad that she left that day in that way. While he walked he could see a mess in one of the stores, then he saw that blonde hair that clearly had no equal. The way to her listening to what was happening and of course it was nothing good. Come on old lady, you have to pay us. Of course I will pay you, you cheated. Don't buck with us, you've already lost too much money. Come on, don't be afraid, play one more and then you can cry all you want. We won't play anything until you pay us, old lady. That woman was about to hit the man, but then Jiraiya interrupted before it went any further. Jiraiya. Calm down boys, violence will not get us anywhere. How much does the lady owe you? He owes us 3 million. Jiraiya. You always do the same thing, don't you? Tsunade. The blonde woman who had behind her another younger woman with short black hair had a pig in her arms. Tsunade. What are you doing here Jiraiya? Jiraiya. I just wanted to say hello. Stop messing around and pay up. Jiraiya, somewhat angry, paid the man as he led the women inside the bar. The three of them sat at the bar and ordered a drink. Jiraiya. You are still as beautiful as the day you left he said while looking at the blonde's big breasts. Tsunade. You're still as perverted as ever. Jiraiya. And I'm still handsome while pointing confidently. Tsunade. Okay, why did you want to see me? Did something happen to our master? Jiraiya. No, that old man is still alive and happy. Tsunade. So? Jiraiya. There's someone who wants to meet you. Tsunade opened her eyes thinking that they would be her grandchildren. She would not know what to tell them after what happened that day they were born, but she was confused when she saw a red-haired girl very similar to Kushina when they were children. Tsunade. What's wrong with the girl? You're already a pedophile from what I see. Jiraiya. No, she's your granddaughter, well, our granddaughter. Tsunade. Ours. But we only had 2 grandchildren. Jiraiya. Well she was born later. Tsunade. But our son died more than 14 years ago. Jiraiya. It's a bit difficult to explain. Tsunade. I don't believe you at all, you're Orochimaru, right? You want me to accept, but by doing this I'll have less to do with you. Jiraiya. What are you talking about Tsunade? I'm your perverted ex-husband. Tsunade. Book you she said while hitting him in the chest stop pretending. Jiraiya. It's me Tsunade, I can prove it to you. Tsunade. How? Jiraiya. I know something that no one else knows, well that no one else knew. Tsunade. What are you talking about, pervert? Jiraiya. Shizune could you cover Mio's ears please? The black-haired girl saw the girl and leaving her pig, she covered the hatred of the little girl. Jiraiya took Tsunade by the waist holding her to him and whispered to the hatred. Jiraiya. When we had Hex, it drove you crazy that while you were being penetrated, I would put one of my fingers in your anus, suck your bit, and what can I say about kissing your neck? Tsunade blushed like never before when she heard that and knew that it was the real one. Angrily, she separated him from her and looked him in the eyes. Tsunade. I believe you, but our son was dead, how come he's alive all of a sudden? Jiraiya. It's a long story. Tsunade. I have all day. Jiraiya spoke calmly with Tsunade for hours until nightfall, explaining everything that had happened months ago. She couldn't believe that her son was alive because ever since she found out about his death and that he refused to take care of his grandchildren, she never heard anything about the village again. Tsunade. So brat, what do you want from me? Mine. My wish is for you to train me, Grandma, you are the most powerful and famous kunoichi in the entire ninja world. Tsunade. And what do I gain from that? Mine. I know that you trained my mother and in the same way I want to grow my brothers are very powerful and respected, while I am only the daughter of the Hokage, nothing more than that. Tsunade thought about it, of course she would train her, she had always wanted a daughter, and now that she had a granddaughter she would not waste the opportunity. Tsunade, let's do something shorty, what I heard from this pervert is that you are a genius, do you see this seal I have on my forehead? Mine. Yes, it is very pretty. Tsunade. Well, this is a seal that gives me great abilities in that, this was created by my grandmother Mito, so you have a month to learn it. Shizune. Are you serious, Lady Tsunade? It took you years to learn it. Tsunade. Well, if she is worthy of being my student, she will succeed, so tomorrow I will train you in such a brutal way that you will die. Mine. I don't care, I'll do it, you'll see, and when I'm ready, you'll beg me to be your student. That's how it was, Jiraiya spent his days trying to flirt with Tsunade while he was just ignoring him. Shizune also trained, but was left dragging herself when she saw how Mio trained. Tsunade went against her with all her strength, even with chakra, the poor girl only received a few blows, but these broke bones that Shizune helped her heal. The days went by and Mio not only trained her physique, but was also in trial and error to be able to use the seal. It had already been 31 days, it was the big day in which Tsunade would see if the girl could have managed to use the seal. Tsunade. Then girl make the seal and if you succeed I will take you under my tutelage. Mine very nervous and even sweating began to trace seals quickly. They were too many. Jiraiya and Shizune were surprised by what the girl did. Then when she finished slowly put her index finger on her forehead. Then a seal appeared in the shape of a diamond in which glowed red. Tsunade opened her eyes. That girl had done it. She had done something that she could not do in 3 years. Mio felt something strange about her when he saw the eyes of the others. He was surprised and approached a puddle that conveniently, due to the rider's actions, was there. He saw the diamond-shaped seal on her forehead. She was happy and Tsunade just smiled for the girl. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Tsunade had been convinced to return to the Leaf Village, the village of her parents and grandparents. The four began the journey back to the village, but it was too beautiful for it to end like that, because in the middle of the road, a small explosion revealed two guys. Tsunade. Shit, won't they leave me alone? Orochimaru saw Tsunade, but was surprised to see Jiraiya and Mio. That was not in his plans. It would undoubtedly complicate everything. Orochimaru. I see that deal will not be carried out. Tsunade. You lied to me, my son is alive, you're a bastard. Orochimaru. You have something I need, just give it to me, and no one will fight or get hurt. Mine. What do you want? Orochimaru. I only want the first one's necklace, your damn brothers left me a curse, and I can't get rid of it. Mine. So it was my brother's, but when was that? Orochimaru. That doesn't matter, I just need the damn necklace. Orochimaru ran towards Tsunade, but Jiraiya intervened. Tsunade put Shizune and Mio behind her, but then she felt a sting in her leg under her gaze and saw a sembo that Kabuto had thrown at her, who had turned out to be her accomplice, so this boy went for her. Kabuto. Don't resist, old lady, sembo had a very powerful paralyzer, so give me what I need. Kabuto was overconfident, but not for nothing Tsunade was the best medical ninja, because something thundered in his mouth, so Tsunade kicked him and sent him far away. Two hands came out from under the ground and tried to hold the blonde, and that's how it was. Then what looked like a very sticky cloth held her by the arms. She was going to free herself, but an arrow had pierced her chest. Jiraiya, Shizune and Mio saw that scene. A hand passed and tore off the necklace that Orochimaru had given, then they dropped the inserted body of the blonde. Was she dead? Mio didn't know what to do, her body paralyzed, adrenaline was running through her body, something inside her roared, but it roared so loud that it made the ground break. Everyone looked at her head was looking down. Mine. No one, absolutely no one has the right to touch the people I love. Looking at Orochimaru who froze in fear. Orochimaru. The Yuzugan. Hey, I'm Shizune. Lady, is Tsunade dead? That name that Orochimaru said sounds familiar to me, but what is it? Chapter 41, The Bloody Mist. With Issei on the day Minato gave the missions. Issei and his team would meet with the Jounins who would accompany him in the War of the Mist. He went with his girls before going with his companions. Upon entering his house they went down to the basement where there were many things, from sealing scrolls to weapons that everyone knew how to use. Issei. Listen girls, this mission will be different from the ones we've done before. This time it's not just about going and killing. This time we have something to protect. Stealth won't help us much. We'll have to attack without playing. They won't think twice about killing us. And I want everyone to return safely, so Tsuchi, I wouldn't like you to go with us. Tsuchi. Why not, Issei? I'm strong enough to go with you. Issei. Because you are not officially part of the team yet, so Yura will come since I want you to join my clan, he said, while hugging her. My dad will decide if you can be on the team, or you will be part of another one, so I'm sorry. Tsuchi. It's okay, he said while looking down. Issei. Don't be sad anymore, when I get back I'll take you to eat whatever you want. Tsuchi smiled because for her it would be a date. The others just made an annoyed face at what Issei said, so jealous they also hugged him possessively. Enko. You better take us too, folksy. Issei. I'll take them, all smiling. All a little jealous began to carry what they would need, katanas, large shurikens, scrolls with necessary things in a seal, soldier capsules. When they were ready everyone left. Issei before leaving, said goodbye to Tsuchi. He was going to give her a kiss on the cheek, but she kissed him on the lips. Tsuchi. Thank you for everything, Issei. Issei. I would do everything for you and for them. Tsuchi blushed and took Issei out of the house to leave. Everyone ready went to the meeting point with the others, which was a little far from the village. When they arrived they met several Jounis, especially someone. Issei. So Obito and Konan will come with me. Obito. I have to watch your ass, who knows what you could do. Issei. Well then let's go, we will reach Miss May's caravan in a couple of kilometers, so let's hurry up. So the squad that were around 25 were led by Issei, who due to his position in the Golden Leaf squad, would be the leader of the mission. It was not the first time that such a young ninja led because there had been many before. There was Jiraiya, Hiruzen, Minato, Kakashi, Itachi and the first's own son-in-law, and they all turned out to be extremely powerful ninja. So when they had seen May's caravan that was 3 carts they all surrounded them while Issei, Aiko and Hinata entered the cart. Since these were the main leaders of the group, May was alert, so she felt them. May. I'm glad you finally arrived. I was worried that they might attack us and you wouldn't be there. Issei. Calm down, May, nobody knew what time, where they would leave or where they would go except for my father and me. May. So who's driving? Issei. My clones, stay calm, my men are strong enough to fight against 1,000 men, plus I have clones watching, nothing will move before I realize it. May. That relaxes me a little. Aiko. How did you get caught up in the Mist Civil War? May. My family was one of the most important in the village, in fact I was trained by the Mizukage himself, but one day it changed, I was the first person he tried to kill, but fortunately with the help of the people who looked after me, I was able to escape, little by little I joined the survivors as well as those who opposed me, and we created a resistance, but the war needs money. I have not been able to get it anymore, my family's fortune has run out, many villages rejected my request for support until Hokage Dono accepted. Issei. Of course I would, my father hates war and would never let innocent people be killed. May. And you don't know how grateful I am. 1 week later. The caravan was entering what was the village of Mist, and as its name says there was a lot of fog, its clones had just run out of chakra, all the ninjas gathered around May's cart by orders of Issei who had left it. Issei. Listen, I know you're tired, but with May's instructions and for your safety, we'll leave the carts. My clones will hide them. We'll go on foot, so be on high alert. They can attack us at any moment. Everyone rested for a moment, then Flake appeared for Issei to pet him, but suddenly he became alert as he pulled out his claws. Issei. Friend, did you feel something? Flake's tail didn't move, it was obvious that he had sensed something, so using his sensor abilities he detected 30 men approaching them. Issei snapped his fingers in order to attack, everyone drew their weapons, even May was ready to kill. Issei. Protect May-sama, that is our mission. Everyone surrounded her, then Koppo launched himself towards an enemy that appeared, Issei touched the ground, and multiple branches came out of it that pierced others. So everyone began to kill the enemies, even though they were able to kill them all they were not unharmed, as 2 ninjas were injured due to weapons with poison that were treated with the help of Hinata. Issei checked the mutilated bodies of the ninjas. Issei. These ninjas were not sent to kill us, addressing Aiko and Obito, they were just on reconnaissance. Death. And since they won't come back, they'll know we're already here. Aiko. And May brings help. Issei. Exactly, none survived, Koppo caught the one he wanted to catch, so they won't know how many of us there are. Death. It would be best to get to the resistance base as soon as possible. Issei. Yes, let's go, May, I'll take you while you guide us. May approached Issei who carried her in his arms, and they all left quickly, the wounded helped by their friends. The Leaf girls did not look kindly on Issei carrying May, and even though they looked at him badly, Issei was more focused on everyone arriving safely, and that his girlfriends were angry with him. After a few minutes they finally arrived at the foot of a mountain where there was a waterfall. They all went through it, since it wasn't very big they wouldn't see it as suspicious. Behind it there was a kind of cave. When they walked a few meters they found a door that had a blood seal on it. May stood in front of it and, cutting her palm a little, they entered what seemed to be another cave. Everyone was paying attention to their surroundings, so when they reached the end of the cave, they found a small village of no more than 300 people. Issei walked forward looking at the people who were sitting on the ground of the improvised streets, children with dirty clothes were running around playing, sick people were being cared for by women. May. I feel bad for being able to sleep in a soft bed while they suffered here. Issei. Don't worry, now that we're here that will change. Obito take a few of them, and I want a count of the ninjas who can fight. Aiko and Fu gather the children, Hinata and Yugito gather the sick, Kei come with me. So everyone split up to help, Issei went with May to find out what was missing for those people now on a list he drew seals. Issei. Summoning art. Uzumaki. Yura reappeared in a ninja uniform looking at Issei and bowed. Yura. At your command Issei-sama. Issei. Yura, I need you to bring me this, giving her the list, and I want you to gather a small group and get the others ready. Yura nodded and disappeared, Issei looked at May and smiled at her. Issei. Calm down May, now everything will be fine. She returned the same smile, feeling a little calmer. Elsewhere. Igura-sama, the ninjas we sent disappeared. Igura. That can only mean that she is already back, very well, her plan is going just as she said, the next move will be made in a few weeks, so order that everything is ready. At your service Igura-sama. Hey, it's me coming in as a normal writer, I'm going to propose something to you, so pay attention, are you a writer, but your stories don't have many visits? Have you just published but don't have much support? Or in the same way a story you loved, but because its writer is not very supported he does not update very often, how about if here in the comments you leave the name of your story or the name of the writer next to the book, why would you ask? Well, we will make a win-win business. When you read a comment, leaving the book, go to it. It does not cost you more than 1 or 2 minutes. Leave a star and a comment of what you thought of the book or how it can improve to be read more. Then the more support we give them, they will grow. Hey, but that is not all. Well, you give the same idea if you liked it. It does not matter the genre of the book or how long it is, because the only thing that matters is that everyone can feel that satisfaction that their story is liked by others. Also, what if you are already bored of the same old stories or the same genre? Then you can find and try new things. That is my idea. I will also support you and paste this in my other stories, the stories that you leave and I like, I will paste in the next chapter. Likewise, I will share it on my official page Facebook, which now that I think about it I have abandoned. But that's all. I have more to say at the end, so finish reading the chapter and I'll see you below. With Issei. Now everyone was in order just as Issei asked. He was in front of the sick and the children. He should change the way they were living so that everyone would be strong. The first thing he went to was what was once an eye of water inside the cave. Now, due to the passage of time and its overexploitation, it was dry and was only fed by a drip. He drew seals and touched the ground. Issei. Ninja art. Terrain deformation. The hole expanded, leaving many surprised. Then Hinata activated her Byakugan and charged chakra in her fist. Hinata. Void clap. With a single blow he hit one of the walls surrounding the eye. He opened a hole from which water began to come out. The next step was food. Issei went to another part of the cave and drew seals. Issei. Summoning art. Uzumaki. From an explosion of smoke, Yura appeared accompanied by more than 20 red-haired ninjas carrying bags. Everyone was surprised at how those people appeared. They put some scrolls they had in the bags, and after a few seals, piles of food, meat, fruit, vegetables and ramen appeared, although the latter was more than the rest. The people were finally able to take a good bath. The children had clean clothes and had been eating with those who still had family, the Uzumakis being themselves, and more of the women were taking care of the children who had been orphaned. The sick had been treated and the wounded healed. Now all that was left was for them to get better. Issei was in a tent. Inside he had a meeting with Mei, Anko, Hinata, Yura, Obito and 2 other men who were from the whirlpool. They were around a table where there was a map with scratches. Issei. So the mediation between the village and the facilities is this point, pointing to a place on the map that represented a plain, something very rare in the village. If he wanted to attack he would go through there, since fighting on a mountain is very complicated and more so with the fog. Death. I sent a couple of ninjas to inspect that area and it seems that there is a lot of surveillance. Issei. I have a plan, but for that I need all your men at 100% and I also want to teach them some things. Addressing Mei. Mei. They will be ready for anything, and regarding training, they will be more than happy for you to train them. Issei. Then it is decided Yugura's reign will have to end. Hi, I'm Hinata. Issei is so handsome when he is serious, even though I don't like that he is very attached to Mei. In the next chapter. Jinchuriki Brothers. Chapter 42, Jinchuriki Brothers. After a week and things with the resistance having improved, Issei was in front of the resistance, or well, what was left of it. Issei. I thank everyone who is here. I know that what you have been through is too hard, but I assure you that with my help we can win. What the hell are you talking about, brat? Maybe you should learn to walk first. Hahaha, he laughed with 3 other men. Issei. Who are those idiots? Addressing Mei. Mei. They were on guard just today, they just arrived. Issei. Well, if you think you can beat me, coming forward while the others stepped aside. If you manage to hit me, I'll let you train us. Issei's girls almost fell out laughing. The 4 annoyed men went for him. The first one wanted to hit him, but Issei only dodged a blow and put his palm on the man's chest, then he had shot out against the cave wall. The second man drew seals, and from the small lagoon came out a whirlpool of water that went straight to Issei, who without drawing seals, only breathed deeply, and from his mouth came out so much fire that it evaporated the attack of astonishment. The man did not move, letting Issei give him a strong blow to the stomach. Everyone heard something creaking. The third drew seals, and a human-sized crab appeared, which upon seeing Issei's symbol began to tremble. Now attack him, Kavi. Kavi? Are you crazy? Do you know who you're fighting against? I'm so sorry, Issei-sama, he said before disappearing. The confused guy just watched as Issei kicked him and buried his head in the ground. The fourth took advantage and was going to attack him from behind, but Issei turned around, stopping the kunai with which he planned to attack him. Issei. You're just a bunch of idiots, never judge your opponent by their size, now, he said, so that his eyes turned red and his iris sharpened. The guy saw behind Issei a gigantic dark orange fox with clear intentions to kill him. Do you want to continue, or will you shut your mouth before I kill you? The fourth guy urinated on himself and fainted. All of the resistance members, as well as the Jounin who accompanied him, were surprised by what they had just seen. Mei smiled as she saw him give orders, and as everyone began to train, Issei approached her. Mei. What happened to the summoning? Issei. The Uzumaki clan was the one who helped in the creation of the summoning seal. My ancestors were highly respected. All the summons know that seeing an Uzumaki with a symbol on his chest and right shoulder is a sign that he is royalty. May. How? Issei. You see, the Uzumaki clan still has a political system where there is a part of the royalty, the purest as well as the others who would be like the Seiyos, because before the leaders were women they are given to respect the clan. To summarize me, my brothers, my mother and my paternal grandmother are Uzumaki royalty. May. Wow, you are amazing. Issei. Thank you. Now Miss May, I would like you to be able to train with my team. I'm sure you would all learn completely new things, he said looking at his team. May. It will be a real pleasure. Issei nodded to return to the resistance that trained them physically in the cruelest way he could think of. He only had a couple of weeks for these men to be able to fight 1 against 100, because if he didn't make a mistake, the numbers would be that different. His father knew his abilities and those of his team, that's why they had sent him. His brother should arrive to help him in the mission as well as Team 9, but he wouldn't be confident because of that. The plans could easily change. For just over 3 weeks, everyone who could lift a kunai was trained except for the children. Elderly women trained in the same way as the young men. The Uzumaki clan had also come to the support of their leader. Everyone was ready to fight and they had to end this war as soon as possible. The day before, Issei let them rest. All day long, they all spent time together. During the night, they all ate and surrounded themselves with the people they loved because they were clear that they might not be able to be together again. Or day. Issei, the Golden Leaves, the 25 of his team, 200 people of the resistance, were outside the cave armed and ready for the start. Issei was in front of everyone. Enko. Folksy, are you ready? Issei, I am Enko-chan, but now I feel something I haven't felt for a long time. Enko. What do you feel? Issei. I'm scared that we'll fail and won't be able to return home. Enko. It's normal, Issei. It's the first time you're in a war. It's not the same as going on a mission. Here stealth won't be of much use to you. We'll have to go head on. Issei, partly yes. Well, I inhale deeply to exhale. Let's go to battle. Issei gave the order. He crossed his fingers and 50 clones appeared to go to the sides. The plan was to take them to the plain where it would be better for them to fight. Yugura's army was behind him. They were going to take the mountains, but even with the fog they saw how they began to burn in flames. It seemed that they were herded to the great plain that was between the mountains. But they would not do this. Ninjas began to approach to launch water jutsus, but the fire did not go out. This fire was black. The ninja who had acted burned in these flames. Kanguro gave the order to go through the plain. He couldn't lose men. When they finally entered they saw that everything was covered by fog, but it was very thick. He felt the chakra in it. As they advanced they stopped. Everything was too silent. Kanguro looked up. A great rain of arrows had appeared. His ninjas who did not realize were riddled with arrows. Other ninjas used water jutsus to protect themselves and stop the arrows. Even so, some had died. Kanguro was getting angry. The fog moved little by little. The plain came into view. The green color and the breeze came into view. In the middle of this in front of them was Issei. Kanguro looked at him and smiled. His weapon inside him fluttered. Kanguro. So you're the only one who will face us. Where are your little resistance friends? Issei. Listen Kanguro, if you give up I will think and take into account leaving you alive. The Kanguro army would begin to laugh. It seemed that the death of their comrades had not mattered to them. Kanguro. Stop playing around, brat, kill him. The army would start running towards him, but then resistance appeared from between the trees. Issei bit his finger and drew seals. Issei. Uzumaki war summon. Behind him, an explosion of smoke had appeared. 500 ninjas with red swirling masks. The battle uniform was a type of black and green samurai armor. It was thin and not so heavy, and so the war began. May watched as the Uzumaki ninjas began to massacre the Kanguro ninjas. Those of the resistance also began to kill. It hurt her to see her companions being killed. That was what war was like, but then she felt a hand behind her. She turned around, and it was Hinata. Hinata. It's time for us to fight, Miss May. May. Okay, let's go. The attackers who were Yuguro's men, but to summarize, were quickly killed by the Uzumaki. More than once one of the red-haired ones was seriously damaged, but another appeared, finished off the attacker and retreated with his partner to disappear in smoke. In the middle of the blood, peeled flesh, jutsus launched and repelled the leaf ones appeared. Issei went in front of them. When they were about to cross, Issei jumped to give a strong blow to the ground, and from it branches emerged that pierced the attackers. The Jounin separated to fight. The Golden Leaves remained together. Now they had changed their half-face mask to one that covered their face completely. That was in the form of a demon or Shinigami. Anko killed with her kunai while throwing snakes. An attacker was going to harm her, but Yugito appeared, and with his claws he split him in half. K with a small saber, and his Sharingan killed other attackers. His back was protected by Fu, who launched poisonous powder jutsus, as well as lots of sembos that were directed at the neck or eyes of the attackers. Issei had Yugura in his sights. Walking slowly, he unsheathed his short katanas and joined them by the handle of these and put them in his mouth. He took the katanas that Tenton and Kushina gave him, and these were surrounded by lightning and wind elements. He cut and killed everyone who stood in front of him. Hinata covered his back, had her Byakugan and her steam fists activated. Then a group of swordsmen surrounded them. Issei took the short katanas out of his mouth, separated them and gave them to Hinata. Issei. Do you know how to use them? Hinata. I've seen you kill hundreds of times with them, I remember how to move them. Issei. Well then cut. Both of them finished off the group in such a way that both of them were stained with so much blood that their black uniform was painted wine-colored. The battle did not stop, and Uzumaki found herself surrounded by several attackers, but a roar deafened her. She saw how the white feline along with some human-sized foxes appeared and finished off the attackers. The foxes continued killing. The girl saw how Koppo approached her. Thank you very much, Koppo-sama, caressing him. The tiger purred at the touch and then took her to other adult Uzumaki. She was a 15-year-old girl and had to live even longer. Koppo quickly appeared at her master's side, killing an attacker. Issei. I'm glad you're here, Koppo. Look for the wounded from the resistance with the foxes and take them to the clan's medics. Can I count on you? Koppo nodded for Issei to pet him and the tiger disappeared. Issei watched as Yugura ran towards him. Issei. Hinata, back off. Hinata nodded as she watched Issei activate his Mangekyo Sharingan and run towards Yugura and clash weapons which gave off sparks from the pressure given. Issei. I know you're a Jinchuriki, why are you doing this? Yugura. That's something you shouldn't know, brat. Mei watched from a distance as Issei began to fight Yugura. Both of them began to use a chakra tail from their beasts. She knew how strong the one who was once her master was. She didn't want Issei to get hurt. She ran towards them but was stopped by her bodyguard Chijuro. Mei. What are you doing, son? Let me pass, I have to help him. Chijuro. I'm sorry, you're like a mother to me, and that's why I can't let you go to them. It's a fight between tailed beasts, you could get hurt. Mei. I am the leader of the resistance, I can fight against him, I will. Chijuro. I don't want to lose her, I know what to do, but please I don't want her to die. Mei nodded and gave the boy a kiss on the forehead, walked a little and made seals while Chijuro shouted. Chijuro. Move aside, guys. Some Uzumaki and resistance members gave a shock and jumped back. Mei. Lava element. Burning river. The large jet of lava went towards the attackers, killing them, but that was not the only thing as he quickly drew more seals and jumped. Mei. Vapor element. Corrosive vapor. The part of the battlefield was engulfed in steam. The attackers who were unfortunately left inside it began to scream as they melted. Kain and Yugito stopped in the middle of the field. They could clearly see everything. Around them they saw how everyone was fighting. Koppo was tearing flesh. The foxes were finishing off bodies. The resistance was killing as they could. The Uzumaki were killing masterfully. Uzumaki girls were screaming while carrying the wounded. They saw their hands were completely soaked in blood. They trembled. This was hell. Hey, I'm K. You only know the true meaning of peace if you have experienced war. It's over. In the next chapter. The Hell of Peace. Chapter 43, A Beautiful Rock. On the day of the missions, Naruto and his team had prepared for the mission. They had left the village with Inoki. 3 days later, just before arriving, Inoki gave them another scroll. Inoki. Here are the names of the criminals. I wish they would do it perfectly without incident. Kakashi. Don't worry, we'll do it, it's part of our mission, see you when we're done. So Team 7 separated. They walked between the large rocks that were in the place. Then when they climbed the one that would be the highest, they saw that in the distance there was a small village. Naruto. Now what do we do, Kakashi? Kakashi. Well, reading the first scroll we will have to look for information in that village, from there we will leave after eating. Naruto. Okay, follow me. The good guys jumping. After a few minutes they had arrived at the small village that had no guard, something very strange. They walked to a restaurant where they entered and ordered food. While they were eating, they looked everywhere as if they were looking for something. Shikamaru. Don't you think we should go to the village leader? We won't find anything here. Naruto. I think so, but let's just hope we can find something good. The 4 of them had gone with the leader to find out that a caravan of merchants had passed by and that it would be possible that they would be attacked by the criminals they were looking for, so they had left the village, but not before Naruto and Kakashi left clones to take care of the small village. While they were running to find that caravan they talked. Sasuke. Are you sure what you did? Naruto. What thing? Shikamaru. You leave Haku, she's strong. Naruto, I know, but I would like her to form a group. I mentioned it to my dad and he said he would think about it, that's why I left her so she could form her own team. Sasuke. And who did you let be your sensei? Naruto. That's a surprise, smiling. Team 7 had run for about 3 hours until they reached a caravan, not wanting to directly intervene with them and setting a trap for any thieves. They were watching them from afar until they were about to enter a forest. It was there where 2 smoke bombs fell that mowed down the merchants. Team 7 had gone into action. But when they arrived they realized that they were surrounded by at least 50 thieves, not to mention that one had a merchant as a hostage. Thief, I knew that ninjas had been looking for me, but I didn't imagine that they would send ninjas from the leaf. Naruto. You know you don't have a chance, let it go, and I'll think about not hurting you too much. Thief. Thanks for the opportunity, but see you later. From an explosion the thief had disappeared, but before he could go for the other thief had gone against him. Team 7 took care of the thieves, but one of the merchants shouted at them. Catch the one who escaped, he took the princess. Naruto. Princess? Wasn't she a man? No, she disguised herself, if they kill her our country will fall completely. Naruto looked at Kakashi and nodded. The blonde threw a kunai into the forest and disappeared in a flash, leaving the bandit surprised, with Naruto who stood on top of a tree and concentrated, but when he found any chakra, he bit his finger and drew seals. Naruto. Summon. Uzumaki Fox. From an explosion of smoke appeared a gray-furred fox the size of a man, with an eye patch over his left eye, who was surprised when he saw Naruto. Mr. Naruto, why have you called me? I am your brother's summon. Naruto. I know Spartan, but I need you to track someone, and you are the best at that. Spartan. Okay, Mr. Naruto, do you have anything of the person you want me to look for? Naruto. No, but I know it came from that place. I felt a thin trace of chakra, but it was lost here. Spartan. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Smelling the place I have something, it's very thin, but I can follow it. Naruto. Well, let's go. The two began to run northwest. As they ran Naruto began to concentrate until he found the chakra trail he had sensed earlier, then after at least 40 minutes they found a cave. Spartan. They should be there, do you want me to accompany you? Naruto. No thanks for everything, you can go. The fox disappeared, then Naruto entered the cave where he walked until in the distance he saw a grotto where there was a small well of water where the thief was with that person. Thief. The boss will be very happy when he takes her with him, he will kill her, and finally he will be the owner of the entire vegetable country. No, please leave me. Thief. Don't worry, we'll have a great time stroking the girl's leg. You were smart to dress up as a man, but not smart enough. Before the man could do anything else his head had flown off. The woman who had already been separated from her disguise was shocked and scared as blood stained her face. Naruto. Calm down princess, I'll help you. The woman looked at the blonde and looked at the leaf band on his head. Who are you? Naruto. I am Naruto Namikaze, a pleasure. Naruto Namikaze, the Midnight Fox. You are a mercenary, get away scared. Naruto. No, don't worry, I returned to my village a few months ago, and now I'm a ninja. I was hired to finish off the thieves, so I'll take care of her, even if it's not part of my mission. Extending his hand. The princess was going to take him by the hand, but then some water needles had been thrown towards them, making Naruto throw himself on her to carry her and leave the place, but before they left the cave they heard. Don't think it will be that easy to leave, brat. The water barrier had blocked the entrance. Naruto did not stop, he created a clone, and with it, they created an Abadama Rasengan, with which they both charged the barrier until they destroyed it and were able to leave the place, but something hit Naruto in the back, sending him crashing into a tree. Naruto quickly hit the girl. Naruto. Are you okay? Why yes, what happened? Naruto. That bastard hit me in the back, but it hurt a little more than I thought. I have to go. The woman was getting up when a hand grabbed her hair. Where are you going? Princess Haruna. Naruto looked at the idiot who had taken the woman. Thanks for bringing her to me, my brat, just this once I will spare your life. The man was going to leave, but Naruto took his kunai to point it at him. Naruto. Let her go, or you'll regret it. Calm down brat, don't think so much of yourself just because you're wearing a band on that empty head of yours. Naruto threw his kunai at him, but the guy dodged it without realizing that Naruto had appeared in front of him with a water Rasengan that hit him in the face and sent him away. He quickly grabbed Haruna, carrying her by the legs, and back to jump towards the branches of a tree to start running. He had to get her safe so she could fight well. But before he could make another jump, a ball of water had hit him in the back again. He fell down, putting his body to protect Haruna. Haruna. What happened? Naruto. That bastard, I have to kill him, but I can't do it if he's here. Princess, listen to me, I'll distract him and you'll go with my clone, okay? Haruna nodded. Naruto threw a smoke bomb to the ground. When that ninja appeared he saw how the smoke vanished to reveal Naruto. So I escaped well. I don't know what you did before, but it won't happen again. Now I'll kill you quickly before you realize you'll already be sleeping. Around the man the water began to rise, revealing how water gathered in large drops that took the shape of a needle and went straight to the blonde who just disappeared in smoke. That. Above the ninja appeared the real Naruto with a Rasengan and hit him, but he disappeared in water. Naruto. He knew what I did, damn it. With Haruna and the clone. Naruto's clone ran, his goal was where the others of Team 7 were, but then he saw how a water bubble formed in front of him that trapped him, now they were trapped, the clone tried to create something, but then it was abruptly disappeared. Haruna looked at the ninja with fear. Ahahaha, that brat thought he was smart, but I'm even smarter. He fell when he felt his clone being destroyed. Wow, he got the better of my clone, I'll kill you before he gets there, goodbye princess. The man was going to stick a kunai in his chest, but then Naruto had appeared, and with his hand, he stopped the kunai that pierced his hand, then his eyes changed color and shape, little by little a red chakra covered him, thus breaking the sphere of water. The ninja jumped back, Naruto now showing 3 tails of chakra looking at the ninja. Haruna covered her mouth. Sasuke had appeared to take the princess and walk away. Sasuke. Calm down, princess will be safe. Haruna. Breathe in the stench, my throat hurts. Kakashi. Appearing, that's because that stench is poisonous to us, don't worry, you got away in time, you didn't breathe much so Naruto can help you now. Haruna. What happened to him? Watching as Naruto returned to normal. Kakashi. He's a Jinchuriki, I don't know why he went overboard with that. Sasuke. He's a conceited idiot, arms crossed. Naruto breathed because it bothered him to use so much chakra because after that his skin burned. Naruto. Well, since the princess is safe I'll go for real. By the way, what's your name? My name is Ruga. Naruto. Well, I saw that you can use the water around you, right? Ruga. That's right. Naruto. This will be interesting, taking out a kunai, we will see how good you are. Naruto threw the kunai towards Ruga, who created a water shield which stopped the attack, but Naruto had appeared in front of him, grabbed him by the leg and disappeared again. Kakashi. Okay, let's go back to the princess caravan so it's safe. Haruna. What will happen to the boy? Kakashi. Looking at Sasuke, we will look for him to help him. Haruna. I thought I would die, shivering a little. Kakashi. Calm down, princess, everything will be fine, now we will protect her. Sasuke. Yeah, come on, I want to at least fight a little. Chapter 44 Vegetables. Naruto had appeared in a rocky area where when he was there he gave a strong blow to Ruga's stomach that sent him crashing into some rocks. He got up but received another kick in the face. Now he quickly got up and raised the water again, but now it was less. The drops and needles went towards Naruto, who only looked and breathed. Naruto. Fire release. Great fireball. The water had been consumed at the same time that Naruto ran towards him to give him a kick. Naruto. Come on, fight, I thought you would be brave enough. Ruga. You haven't seen anything yet. Ruga moved quickly towards him to start a taijutsu fight. Ruga was good, more than he expected, but he could still face him, both had the same speed. Naruto gave him a kick that Ruga was able to cover, but it was a distraction, because the blonde quickly took a kunai and threw it towards his face, but now Ruga with one of his kunai had repelled it. Naruto gave 2 hand seals. Naruto. Water release. Water bullets. He had launched 8 water balls at his opponent, who had dodged them with difficulty. He was now trying to get water out of the ground, but nothing came out. Naruto. Surprised. Well, what do you think about this? Water element. Killer wave. A large amount of water in the form of a huge wave went towards Ruga, who was not expecting it. The water had hit him brutally against the rocks of the place. He stood up and looked at Naruto to draw seals. Ruga. Summon. Piranhas. Ruga had summoned several piranhas that went towards Naruto, but he had done the same by summoning a red fox that devoured the piranhas in one bite. Ruga took advantage of Naruto's small carelessness to appear behind him, but when he was going to stab him from behind, Naruto turned around and held the weapon for him. Ruga looked into Naruto's eyes, which changed to red at the same time as his whiskers grew thicker and his fangs appeared. Naruto. Damn, you think that by attacking me for treason like the dirty rat that you are you can kill me, you just messed with the king of the foxes. Ruga was scared when he heard that. He threw a smoke bomb at his face to escape, but when he started to run, Naruto gave him a Rasengan in the face that sent him crashing into the rocks. After the attack he was getting up, but he didn't expect another child to appear with his hand surrounded by lightning. Sasuke. Chidori. Sasuke had pierced his chest with such a technique, even with the lightning. Sasuke pulled his hand out of the criminal's chest and jumped back to stand next to Naruto. Naruto. So your hand doesn't shake anymore when killing. Sasuke. That's how it should be, Naruto, everything okay? Naruto. Of course, now we have to go, we have to protect the princess, removing the band that Ruga was wearing. Both of them left behind the body of Ruga, who was still alive. A few moments after, those with the blade left where the dying criminal was. Another person appeared. Ruga. Help me. The other man who had appeared just looked at him with contempt as he pulled out a kunai. Without you, my brother and I will be the sole owners of the country. The man stuck the kunai in Ruga's heart and left. From there, the body would be consumed by scavenger animals. But Naruto and his team. They were healing minor wounds of the princess, who felt relieved when she saw Naruto accompanied by Sasuke. Kakashi. What happened? Naruto. Showing the headband, we finished him off. Now tell me what's up with it. She's a princess, looking at Haruna. Haruna. That's right, thank you very much for helping me. Naruto. It's nothing, but could you tell me what someone so important is doing so far from home? Haruna. My country was taken by the criminal brothers a few months ago, and because of that I had to escape with them, pointing to some men. They are my escort. We headed to the rock village to ask for help, but the old son of a hitch denied me. Now I have hope with the leaf village. Naruto. Well, if you go alone it is more likely that they will attack you again. I am the son of the Hokage, and rest assured that we will help you, as long as you tell me the complete story of what happened to your village. Haruna. I agree with that. Naruto. Then let's go to the forest, camp there and we can talk comfortably. Haruna accepted along with her bodyguards. When they went just a little further, they were able to camp. Sasuke and Shikamaru stayed outside watching with the rest of the caravan. Naruto and Kakashi entered a tent. Once inside they sat down to talk. Haruna. A few months ago my father was killed by the criminal brothers who were helped by some greedy people and who hated my father just because he distributed the money between the villages to improve their quality of life, but they didn't like it. The person they confronted and killed was one of the brothers. I'm sure the other two are looking for me. Naruto. Kakashi-sensei, the scroll extending his hand, could you tell me the names of the other two brothers? Haruna. Your name is Renga and Jiga. Naruto. They are also on our list. Apparently he wanted to help them directly, summoning a small fox little friend Wood. Wood. What's up, boss? Naruto, I need you to help me deliver a message to my father. Haruna. Will you help me? Naruto. I'm not that naive, but if some criminals take over a country, I don't want to imagine what they can do to the inhabitants. I'll only do it for them. The fact that your father isn't involved in some bad things, I can't be sure. Haruna. You can't believe a princess's word. Naruto. I'm sorry, but I'm a ninja. Lying is one of my weapons, but I will still help you. Haruna accepted even though it bothered her that Naruto distrusted her. They spent the night there. In the morning they set off towards the country of the vegetable. During the night she had received her father's response, accepting that she helped them. While they were traveling the road, the Team 7 killed the criminals they were looking for. The road was somewhat long, about a week. Finally they arrived at the border of the country. They arrived at a somewhat small town. The team felt ahead. When they entered, what they saw left them with a face of fury. In front of them was a destroyed town. They could hear how some women screamed. Naruto saw a girl his age running out of a house, but she was naked. Behind her appeared a man. He couldn't help but compare that girl with one of his girlfriends or his sister. In front of the man a kunai appeared, and in a flash Naruto appeared, who with his katana had cut off his head. Other men who were there saw how their partner was killed. Some reacted, but it was when the others of the team went to Naruto's aid, which approached the girl while taking off his vest to take off his orange sweatshirt to put it on the girl, who looked at him with some fear. In a single movement he put his palm on the ground, and from an explosion of smoke, 10 figures appeared with the same uniform as those that appeared with Issei. At your service, Naruto-sama. Naruto. Go and kill everyone who is harming the people of this town and help the inhabitants. They all nodded as Naruto created more clones to split up and begin killing the criminals who had taken over the small town. After 2 hours of cleaning up and getting the inhabitants to safety, Naruto was very upset, so much so that now he had his fox-like features very marked. Kurama. Naruto, calm down, you're wasting too much chakra. Naruto. If I hadn't distrusted Haruna I could have stopped her. Kurama. It was just a precaution, Naruto, not bad. Now you better get going so you can kill those sons of hitches. Naruto walked until he was in front of 3 guys who had been left alive. Naruto. Where are the criminal brothers? HTP. I won't tell you anything, asshole. Naruto angrily grabbed him by the face and with all his strength crushed his skull, killing him. The other 2 were scared while Sasuke vomited. Shikamaru felt nauseous. Kakashi was very serious, and Haruna, who arrived, was terrified. Naruto. I won't ask you again, where are you? SOB. 2 of them had gone out to look for the princess, and 1 of them stayed in the capital. Please leave. Naruto had killed them both with a single slash. Haruna approached while Naruto turned around. The angry girl had slapped him and was held by the previously summoned Uzumaki. Haruna. Why did you kill him? He had told you what you wanted to know. Naruto. People like them don't deserve the miracle of life. Haruna. And who do you think you are to decide who has the right to what? Naruto. I am the one who is willing and has the balls to finish off the people who ruin this beautiful world. My hand will not shake to kill whoever deserves it, moving away from the place, even if I am the one who must die. Aruna was very surprised by what Naruto had said. The Uzumaki girls went after Naruto to give him clean clothes since the ones he had were dirty. They helped set up a place to care for the people of the village. During the rest of the day and night Naruto was very upset. He had to free the other villages. He gathered Haruna's guards and his team. Naruto. How many villages are there? There are around 58 towns. Naruto. Most likely almost all of them have already been taken. Every moment we take I'm sure there are more people suffering. I will gather people from the whirlpool. Kakashi-sensei, we must divide. Kakashi. What are you thinking? Naruto. We will separate into 4 squads. One will be led by you, another by Sasuke and Shikamaru. I will go with the princess to the northeast, which is where the capital is. You will go to the other villages. When you free them you will meet me in the capital. Kakashi. Naruto, this mission is very dangerous. If any of you die, I'm sure your mothers will kill me. Sasuke. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto is right, every minute we lose more people suffer. Shikamaru. I'm lazy, but I won't let anyone else get hurt. Kakashi. Okay, we're leaving tomorrow morning. Hey, I'm Haku. I just want to make it clear that I am a woman, not a guy. In the next chapter. The Leafs rookies show what they're made of. Chapter 45, The Leaf Rookies. Leaf rookies show what they are made of. Teammate towards the wave. The team ran towards their destination. It was supposed to be just a reconnaissance mission, so it would be quick. While they ran they were alert. Not for nothing had they trained with Naruto before the exams started. They were always alert, since he had attacked them by surprise several times. Late in the afternoon they had reached the bridge. Kurenai. Uzumaki brothers bridge, those children are already spreading their fame. Sakura. No wonder they're both already famous from the bingo book, right? The Kain. Yes, but naming a bridge after her is something else, right? Kurenai. For its chicken, yes, it is an honor, but let's go quickly. The team walked along the bridge where people with merchandise, others who were couples and others passed. As they approached the town they realized that it was prospering because it looked a little bigger, cleaner, new and with more people. When they reached the end of the bridge, they came across 2 men who were the guards. When they saw their ninja band they stopped them. Gee. What do we owe the visit of the Leaf Ninjas to? Kurenai. We are here on a reconnaissance mission. We want to know how much the village has prospered since the daimyo plans to invest in the village. Gee. In that case you can go see the new leader. They received the address and went towards it. As they walked the people who saw them noticing how a Kain wore the Uzumaki symbol on her right hip, many bowed in respect. The girl did the same out of respect. It was not the first time something like this happened. When they finally arrived at the place they found a house where the 4th floor was being built. Outside there were several men around another. They approached them so that Kurenai could ask them. Kurenai. Who is the leader of the village? I am Tazuna, the new leader. I see that the Leaf really had planned to create an alliance with us. Kurenai. Not only that, the daimyo wants to invest money here, but we should know that things here are progressing for the better. Tazuna. Well, the only bad thing that has happened is that there is a new group of criminals that have been attacking us. We hired a group of mercenary ninjas, but a week ago 3 of them were killed. They captured another one and killed him. We don't know if they want to retake the kingdom of Gedo. Kurenai. I think it would be best if we called a group of higher-ranking ninjas for this, since my group is only Chunin, and there are only 4 of us. The Kain. Don't worry about that, Kurenai-sensei. Sakura. Yes, sensei, if we wait for another group to come it is likely that it will take a long time since I don't know if any jounin wants to deal with criminals like them. Ino. Let's try, if we can't, let's ask for help. Kurenai. We will stay, but from now on I will send the request, Mr. Tazuna, we will help you with the issue of those criminals. Tazuna. I would really appreciate it. The guys we hired left 2 days ago, and I don't know when they will be back. Sir. The boy appeared shouting, drawing everyone's attention. The boy was agitated when he arrived. Tazuna. What's going on? Sir, men to the west. Kurenai made a sign, and the 4 of them headed to the side of the village she had mentioned. As they ran across the roofs of the houses they saw smoke that was supposed to be from a fire. When they finally arrived, they saw how several men attacked a group of villagers who were coming from a market. Sakura and a Kain jumped first to hit the criminals. Sakura kicked a man into a wall. She kicked another in the face, making him spin in place without hearing his neck snap. The Kain threw several sembo at the necks of some others. One approached her from behind, but did not wait for her to turn around, and gave him a strong blow to the chest that broke his ribs and fell to the ground without moving. Kurenai was fighting against 3 men. Ino was on the roof of a house when she saw how a man emerged from the ground with a kunai ready to stab Kurenai, but the blonde was faster because she jumped, and with an axe kick, she embedded him back into the ground. The 4 girls faced off against more men that were appearing, but when they least expected it, someone had hit Ino from behind which threw her towards a Kain who caught her. Kurenai turned her gaze, but was met with a fist. Sakura watched as a tall, muscular man had appeared and had hit Kurenai, sending her to the ground. He went towards her, but when he hit her she was able to dodge it and hit him in the stomach, but the man didn't even move. "What were you trying to do, brat? You'll only end up badly." Sakura received a kick that made her spit blood. The pink-haired girl ended up on the ground, but she got up when she did so she was kicked again, but now harder. Without caring she got up again, while remembering when she was training for the exams. Flashback. Sakura and Ino were in a training field while hitting two large rocks. Both of their hands were beginning to bleed. They were tired. They had been there for hours. They both got up at 5 in the morning. They trained from there until 7 with Naruto. From 7 to 7:30 they had breakfast. From 7:30 to 12 in the afternoon they trained with Kurenai and an Ambu friend of Kakashi. Then they rested only 15 minutes from what they ate. Then their hell began because Kushina appeared. Kushina trained them as hard as she was trained as a child. She gave them push-ups with rocks on top. They had to do weights with a stick that had buckets of water on each end. Underneath them they had knives so they wouldn't lower their hands too much. With chakra in a lake they had to carry rocks from one side of the lake to the other. They ran while being chased by Kushina while she threw bait at them that they had to dodge what was thrown, without mentioning that they had weights on their legs and arms. To end the day they hit a rock until they had to break it. During all the weeks they tried hard, but they were sad. They felt that they would not achieve anything, but that was when Kushina intervened. "Kushina. What's wrong, girls?" "Sakura. It's just that I feel like we won't achieve anything with this training. The other girls are stronger and, you know, they have known how to fight for a long time. They are better and they are stronger." Kushina. "Listen, girls, there will always be someone stronger than you. They will beat you, they will destroy you. You know that life is not a world full of pink clouds and rainbows. It is a bad and wild world. It will hit you and leave you on your knees. It will leave you there if you let that happen. Neither you nor I will hit as hard as life, but it does not matter how hard it is. It matters how hard you resist, so get up and train harder, because effort surpasses talent." End of flashback. Sakura got up again. Ino also joined a Kain. Sakura cracked her knuckles. Ino took her new katana, and a Kain activated the Byakugan. Sakura went straight towards him since he was taller. The pink-haired girl jumped to hit the man, but this time she was stronger since she turned his face. The Kain appeared behind him to hit his chakra point several times, so that Ino appeared to cut him behind the knees and back. The man got angry, grabbed Sakura by the head who had appeared and headbutted her, which drew blood from both. He held Ino's hand with the sword and bent it in such a way that he dislocated her shoulder. The Kain attacked him so that he would release Ino, who gave a small cry of pain, but that was when he crushed her with his foot and had her on the ground with her head on his foot. Sakura stood up, channeled chakra into her arm, and gave him a strong blow that sent him flying a couple of meters. She recovered when a Kain stood up and got into a fighting stance again. Ino adjusted her shoulder to stand next to Sakura. The three girls charged at him to fight him as a team. Ino cut off one of his hands. A Kain closed all of his chakra points, so that in the end, Sakura gave him a strong blow again in the stomach that sent him crashing into a house that ended up destroyed, but he still got up. The girls were in pain because the man's blows hurt like hell. "You win this one, but wait, I'll appear again." The man disappeared among the trees. The girls collapsed. Several men appeared to take them, along with Kurenai, who was seriously injured. With Team 9. The team had barely left the town and enthusiastically ran alongside the waterfall leader's wagon, protecting him. As they walked, they were on high alert for any surprise attack, but nothing happened. So for several days, until after a couple of days they were finally about to reach the village. It was when Neji managed to see with his Byakugan several groups of ninjas approaching very quickly, so he alerted his companions and his sensei, who got into a fighting stance ready. They surrounded the leader of the village with his guards. They saw themselves surrounded on all sides. Tenton had his scythe ready, Lee prepared his bandages, Neji was ready to protect and attack, while Guy waited for the first move to move. The tension was so much that it could be cut with a kunai. The first move was made by one of the mercenaries, since he had launched a fireball. Neji defended them from the jutsu as he launched himself toward several mercenaries. He engaged in a fight of pure taijutsu. Tenton took his scythe and divided it in two. He threw two kunai toward some trees, and with ninja cable he grabbed them, he pulled and climbed. The mercenaries jumped from their places hoping that they would harm the ninja, but they did not know that that is what he wanted, because when he had them at a certain distance he began to spin, and like a bolt, he killed everyone who was in his way. Once at the top he went down while throwing sembos without stopping, until he fell on top of a mercenary with whom the leader of the waterfall was fighting. Lee was too fast for anyone to harm him. Without further ado, he received a strong blow to his side that sent him toward some trees. I looked at his student and was about to receive the same blow, but he was much stronger because he barely moved him. In front of him, a fat man with a strange hairstyle had appeared. I recognized the symbol he had with him. It was then that he looked at Tenton, who was pierced by something. Lee was taken by surprise by rocks that crushed him. Neji looked at his companions and how his sensei was hit by the fat man to send them away. In front of him a projectile appeared, but he managed to dodge the attack, but that is what they wanted, since next to him the fat man appeared and lifted him up, above him appeared a strange guy kicking him, on the ground Neji feels how they step on his throat. No, they were very strong Team 9. Hi, I'm Kushina. The girls are stronger than they look, Team 9 has more to give. In the next chapter. The strength of the Leaf Rookies. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown in left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.